Right? Like you
Welcome, everybody.
be a professional gateway, right?
And we have a few participants. Brian, looks like you're here. Good to have you. Chris, thanks for again taking time away from your vacation to help us out. If it's use it or lose it. Okay, so the first item of business is our public hearing. Two matters requiring a public hearing. The first is a request for a change in the zoning from R12 to R119 for a 9.1 acre parcel of land located at 410 South Woodland Hills Drive. Do we have anybody from the public that cares to comment on that? Okay, will you come up to the desk and state your name? Yeah, so we got our new microphone system, so we want to make sure we can. Oh,
Whatever you
well,
want.
sitting is, I mean, that's there for you, but you're not required.
I didn't realize how it's gonna be front and center.
Yep, and on film too.
And
Okay.
state your name first.
Scott Billett. So I have
Welcome.
two properties down to the north from the Garretts. Cause I'm really concerned about the size of the properties, and there's so many that are under 1 acre proposal. I know there's other people are concerned that can't be here tonight too on the east side of the Garrett's property. And I think one of them talked to Ben today and stuff. Is there any proposal to do like 4 2-acre parcels in there and have 1 street instead of 2 streets, for instance?
So our planning commission chair, I think, would probably be best suited to comment on that. So do you have any other comments or questions? I don't want to have you guys swap.
Yeah, no, I won't take a lot of time.
No, you take the time you need. I just want to
guess
make sure that
My
we
next
switch.
comment would be that a lot of the properties around the Garretts are 2+ acres in size. So I was trying to figure out why, you know, is it a more of a profit issue to have, for the developer to have 9 1-acre lots? As opposed to 4 2-acre lots that would fit more with the surrounding properties in there. And you would have 1 street, 1 cul-de-sac instead of 2 streets in there. And also I kind of see too, with potential of 9 houses going in with driveways and stuff, you're gonna have more tree removal in that area. More deforestation and stuff like that going on. But I think I think there was another point I had, but that's mainly what I was, concerned about.
Okay.
Was, and I thought Woodland Hills community was more of a larger acre property, thing, but I realized I'm on a 1 acre, but I also bought my property 92, right? So, moving forward in the future, I just think we'd be better off with larger pieces. Oh, that's my last comment. So between me and the Garretts, there's 6 acres, and I believe the city approved about 5-7 years ago to have that divided in 3 2-acre properties for the Underwoods. I think their
They're
name
1
was.
acres.
Are they? Okay. So there's 6 of them then? Are they here or something? Oh, okay.
No,
There could be potentially 6.
Yeah.
potentially, they haven't given. us
So
a
that
plan.
hasn't been decided on. Okay, so last I saw, I thought it was 3 2-acre lots with a U-shaped driveway accessing those off Woodland Hills Drive kind of thing. Like, one
Yeah,
frontage
there's
road.
1 road off of Woodland Hills Drive that
Yeah,
goes into
okay, so
that.
that's still up in the air then, you're saying?
Well, we
It could be
approved
2,
it
could
years
be
ago, but they haven't brought us any preliminary plan or
Yeah,
anything.
okay.
That was just a conceptual plan.
And they are zoned as an R1.
Okay,
So for 1 acre parcels, and the Garrett's property is zoned as an R1-2.
yeah, okay. So
So-
you're saying on the Underwoods, they can't do 2 acres right now unless that is changed?
No, you can go higher. So an R1 will
Okay.
allow you to go larger, you
Okay.
just can't go smaller than a
Yeah.
1 acre parcel.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, so anyways, before I go, there's a number of lots on those 9 lots that are like 0.87, 0.9, they're not even 1 acre lots. You know, I think there's maybe a couple of them that are maybe 1.2 or 1.1, I can't remember. It's been a number of weeks since I looked at it, you know, kind of thing. So anyway, so those are my concerns.
Okay, no, thanks for the input. Anybody on the council have any questions relating to that?
You know, like you said, I've spoken to a number of residents on Maple Drive this morning.
Okay,
And I, you know, kind of talked through my feelings about the situation. So it's 9 acres, the Garrick's property is 9 acres, and they're looking for 8 parcels. And predominantly, the primary reason for the somewhat smaller lots than, say, a full acre is due to the fact that, you know, we're requiring so much land be consumed by roads. And especially that roundabout, which, you know, gives access for the fire truck to be able to get in there and turn around. And so that's kind of my thought is if we flip it, you know, because as an R12, I believe, Wayne, R12 can go 1 acre, right?
Yes.
Because I believe even my home's a R12. And I'm at 1.5 acres.
okay,
And so I believe really what they're looking for is a rezoning to R119, which would give them, well, the R119 designation goes down to what, Wayne? Is it 0.45 or 0.5 or what is an R119?
19,000 square foot minimum.
Okay, I'm not sure what that is as an acreage. But when they brought this forward to us a few months ago, basically they, you know, requested this map and we put a couple contingencies on that. Because I didn't want personally, less, you know, fewer or more lots for this space,
yeah,
right? Because an R119 would potentially hypothetically grant that. And so we put a constraint on here that 8 would be the maximum for this area. And it was contingent upon the sale of the property to the proposer of this rezone. And thus it would give them the ability to, one, make their numbers work, you know,
For
for
the
the
sale.
viable option, yeah.
yeah,
Because there's a few different things, and I'm not trying to make the case for the developer here,
yeah,
you
okay,
know, but due to the way this lot configuration looks, because I've looked at it quite a bit myself, you know, the location of the Garrick's home creates somewhat of a problem because it's just kind of positioned in a weird spot.
yeah, no,
for
and
the
I
9
totally
acres.
understand that. And then obviously with this new development, you know, the house, the pool, and the tennis court will all be bulldozed and
I
gone,
believe,
right?
no, I
Really?
believe, no, the house and the pools remain.
So that's on a lot,
The
though?
tennis court though does need to go, right?
Oh,
Tennis
okay,
court has to go, but the pool stays.
so the pool and the house
Part of
stays.
we have a concept, have you seen it?
Yes, I've seen this, it was a small
Part of
one.
the problem we had was
Actually,
with
maybe
the,
I've seen this.
the distance on setbacks for sides, you know, it just required so much there, it kind of took away from the concept, but we want to maintain the, you know, that same amount of lots.
And just to be, well, let's just, so maybe if you can review that and then
Yeah.
it looks like you're here representing the Garrett property. So if you have something to add, just so the council can make its informed decision. And then Wayne, at the end, if you have anything further that you feel like you need to chime in with.
Sure. Yeah, Nate Carson, yeah, representing the group here, looking to develop this and everything, you know, Ben has said is absolutely correct. Trying to maintain that R1, you know, trying to, that same feel of that acre. You know, originally the first concept plan had the 50 feet of road and which, you know, was not quite accurate, needed the 56 feet of road, which does take quite a bit of that into consideration. This concept plan that we brought today also, which was proposed last week on the planning and zoning, is to bring the driveway, also to limit access to Woodland Hills Drive, trying to maintain traffic. But yeah, we are trying to maintain the feel of the surrounding area, which is the R1 designation, 1 acre, and trying to maintain those lots. I mean, there's a number of lots that fall under that, like he said, 0.87, and, you know, there is 3 lots there that are within that acre, but there's, I would make 4 that are under that designation.
And so the map you have there is different than the one we have.
The only thing is we brought the driveway to show that driveway access is. Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. And does this shrink the roundabout as well?
This,
The
this
cul-de-sac,
maintains the,
Cul-de-sac, sorry.
this maintains the same as what was originally on the concept plan.
and it meets the requirements for the fire.
Yes, yep.
And does this pull all driveways then off of Woodland Hills Drive
This pulls all driveways off, well, yeah, because there's just the one
currently,
currently.
and then all other ones will be,
And you're gonna
Will be
pull
off
that
of-
off,
Yes,
that's
and put in this side one here.
correct.
That's great.
Sorry, it's not labeled.
Yeah,
oh, that's,
luckily we look at these every once in a while.
Okay,
I like that the driveway is gonna come off of the interior road rather than Woodland Hills Drive.
That was a condition planning commission gave. It was only 2 accesses on the Woodland Hills.
all right. Any questions here? Okay, thank you. Wayne, anything else you care to add or has it been covered?
Most of it's been covered, but let me share. The council probably is aware of this more than people in attendance here, but when a developer comes to the city, there's a lot of things that they have considered in as they acquire property and develop it. And they're gonna have a certain investment in that property. And I know they want to maximize that investment. And we try to work with them to the degree that we can do that. And they look at a profit margin, which they have to make in order to make it economically feasible for them to develop the property. And so those kinds of things enter into the planning commission, and I think the council's decision as well. We're fortunate in our city, and we've gotten spoiled a little bit, that we do have larger lots, larger size lots. And there's a bit of pressure from the state to make smaller lots so that we can have greater numbers of residential properties in the city, helping more affordable housing in many instances. And so we try to strike a balance a little bit in looking at things. And another one of the conditions that was put on this was that they would not lower their lot sizes beyond what they're showing on their plan. So some of them are just a little below an acre, and they've committed to doing that, to keep that size. Even though the R119 is the minimum size of 19,000 square foot, which is a little less than half an acre, it gives them the ability to have larger sizes than the R119. And that's what they've chosen to do with this layout. So anyway, I just share that a little bit so people can understand too. I know we like larger lots, and we try to strike a balance as a developer comes and puts a proposal to us. We feel that it's other things have been considered and in that process, and that we look at that, and as has been said, that's our recommendation to the council, those 2 stipulations with the driveway and the lot sizes. And we had a unanimous vote on that, and we felt comfortable with that proposal. So,
and
any
the 2
questions?
stipulations that we put on it when it left us last time, are they also still in effect? That it is, contingent on the sale to
Yes.
these individuals here, plus also that this is the maximum number of lots for this land?
Correct. That goes with our conditional use. Also, for your information, we received a statement from Garrick's, and they're supportive of this. It's a little unusual because we're rezoning property that's not theirs yet. But the Garrick said they were supportive of this zoning as well, as they're in the process of selling the property. So,
That was my question, Wayne, thank you.
okay.
All right, very helpful. Thank you. Okay, any other comment from the public on that? Yeah, Joe, please come forward.
I guess one of my questions is it possible, with everything that's been said and recorded and whatever, is it even possible to leave the zoning the way it is?
As an R1-2?
Yeah.
I guess technically, yes, and then just do a development agreement that with the developer that grants them this zoning. But I think leaving it in R119, they'd need to, I would assume, and you guys can correct me if you're wrong, that makes the numbers not work out if we cut out a lot, correct? Because I'm assuming they have to incur a number of expenses from demolition
If they buy
and
it.
things of that nature, so, well, I'm speaking to you. You know probably better than I do on this type of thing.
Yes, I mean, one of the unique things about Woodland Hills is we live in a forest. And I've done a fair amount of building over in Summit Creek where they have these size of lots. And when you put houses, even though it's a large lot, when they're 1 acre lots with decent sized houses, the forest is basically gone. So if you went over to Summit Creek where there's houses next, if you see forest over there, it's because they haven't built on the lot yet. If you have 2 houses together or 3 or 4 in a row, the forest is basically decimated. There's nothing there. And in Woodland Hills, there's nowhere in Utah County, anywhere that is like Woodland Hills. And we've had deer, and every animal you can think of just lives amongst us. And when you start getting that higher density, you're gonna start wiping out the forest and it's gonna change. And there's nowhere else to go. If you don't have Woodland Hills to come to an area like this where it's so close to the civilization and in the forests and the mountains, there's nowhere else besides Woodland Hills. And so you start making smaller lots, it basically just changes everything. And if you do it once, you're gonna have to do it the next time and the next time and the next time. So
I kind of feel that's where we're at a little bit.
So just to make sure that I'm clear on, so obviously you're expressing some concerns, but your initial question was.
yeah, so I've heard that with stuff being recorded, the county to maximize lots of 8 with a 9 acre parcel. I'm just saying, is it gone so far down the road that we're just wasting our time talking about it, or can it actually stay the same zone it is?
I don't know the answer to that as to the finality of that piece of it. And yeah, we'll have to get back to you on that one in terms of the
Yeah, I'm just saying,
implications
I
of that.
prefer to leave the zoning the way it is, because it's a unique area. And once you start to change it, it's gonna just snowball. It is.
Yeah, do you guys have anything you could say to that? Do you have a plan for maximizing tree preservation or?
Well, I mean, you're talking almost an acre, and I mean.
Well, but let's not just let's keep it in sort of a formal, I mean, it's a public hearing, so I want to make sure that the discussion is heard, but we've got to make sure that we're making.
Yeah, so I'm kind of like more asking
Accommodation
the
for
city
those
council.
online.
Are we leaning toward keeping our way of life here, or are we leaning towards allowing more development?
A fair question.
I think too, with development agreements for people who have larger parcels, right, like Summit Creek, they're able to have smaller lot sizes in their PUD
Right.
because there's certain zoning smaller, but they have larger, so it evens out to be the 1 acre. I think most of the city is at 1 acre. There's just a few in the original development there by where you're at that are still 2 acres. Not very many places are 2 acres anymore. And I think part of the problem is that we, like Wayne had said, is we want to show the state that we are looking at what their concerns are, and we are lowering some of our lot sizes to 1 acre. They don't want any 1 acre lots left in the state at all. And so they want.
We don't care about that.
Well, we're a political subdivision, so we don't get a choice. And so we're fighting back hard against that, saying, hey, give us local control. We still feel like 1 acre is a good sized lot, and it is lowering it from what our current ordinance was, but we don't really want to go any lower than that. And so this is kind of a good faith effort to show that we are listening, we are lowering some, but we also want to draw our line in the sand that says, this is our community, please let us have that.
Yeah, and I'm interested in keeping the community we have, not the next level.
Yeah, well, and that's the hard part, as development happens in private property rights and everything else that come into play. We're trying, I think, really hard to maintain with these developers the you know, the ambiance and what is our quality of life here. And still having larger lot sizes with that development below that may or may not ever happen. They were changed to the R1 and it just lends itself to be similar. Also fire hazards.
So when we start getting lower densities with no sewer system, how's that affect, has anybody checked with the health department, say, adding more and more septic system versus what we have now is pretty, for septic is a lot. When you start increasing that density, you also have another problem, you're adding a lot more septics to this area because there's no.
And that's on them in the county. Now, the septic system is just at the church. So if the county requires them to go in, then they will. But right now, we haven't heard that that's the case.
That's all I have.
Okay, thanks. Thanks for pressing us a little bit on that. Okay, David, yeah, do you have something?
Yeah, just something real quick, because it kind of goes along with lines. We've been here for 26 years, you guys already know that. I wish I had the money.
State your name, too.
Oh, David Stones. I'm just about stumbling because I'm getting old. There was nothing there to stumble on. Is just a thought, because, we love living here. We lived here for 26 years, and I wish I had the money to buy the property behind us. But guess what? We're going to have wonderful neighbors. When they first strip mined right behind us up to the property line, I kind of went past a little bit and took all those beautiful trees. I was thinking, well, dadgum, I don't know why they did that. Guess what? I don't know the land. And I'm still sure that whoever's going to build there is going to just be wonderful neighbors. And I'm looking forward to them. I wish I had the money to buy it so that I could just preserve it wild like it was. I just wanted to make that comment because I think all of us want to live in that preserved area. But the reality is I didn't own that property. So it's going to be developed and it's going to look beautiful. So I just want to say that.
Thank you.
And your house is probably a little safer now too with those trees gone.
But dadgum, they all go.
Okay, anybody else? I apologize for cutting you off. If you had anything else you wanted to add?
He just acted like he needed us to verify something, so I was just.
Okay. All right. With no further comments, we will close that portion of the public hearing and move on to item 2 of the public hearing, the proposed 2026 fiscal year budget. Anybody here that would like to comment on that?
No budget comments,
Yeah,
but
wow. I
They just love
David Stones has something to
Why
say.
not?
it. Of course he does. Come on.
Because
David.
budgets always get me kind of wound up, but
Is there, what did we add to your budget if we approve this?
no. Just for some comments last time, you guys know I'm into analytics and all that kind of weird geeky stuff. But I know that there were some concerns about how things were going up, property taxes, home values. I like numbers, and so I just kind of ran a bunch of things just for fun. Home prices or values have gone up 57% over the last 5 years. Social Security colos, increase of payments to Social Security recipients have gone up 36%. Utilities have gone up 43%. Groceries 40%. Property taxes 34%. And on and on and on and on. The only reason I'm bringing that up is costs have gone up. That's the world we live in. I wish we could, rewind and be stuck back when I was born, back in the 60s. That's not the reality.
That had its own set of problems.
Yeah, that's got its own set of problems. I just thought I'd mention that because you guys are always getting challenged, and I'm probably one of those people that challenge you. But I do appreciate you guys driving efficiencies because I do see a lot of it because I'm a participant of it. And I do see some of it personally too from somebody that lives in my house. And I just appreciate what you guys do, the things you guys look at, the things that all the people that do service for the city do. And I just wanted to say that we live in a world of rising costs, and that just has an impact. There's no way around it. And that means that the budget in some ways has to increase with it, or we're just going to be riding on dirt roads. And I'm sorry, that would be a little problematic plowing. So anyway, there you go. That's all I had to say.
Okay, thank you for your comment there too. All right. Well, if there are no additional comments, we will close the public hearing portion of the meeting and move on into the work session. Item 3, a discussion of what we just had the public hearing on, the adopting a change on the 410 South Woodland Hills Drive. Does the council have any additional discussion that
Are the developers going to say anything more to us than what was said in the public hearing?
Probably not unless you ask them.
I didn't know if they had a presentation as part, because
Oh, yeah.
sometimes we do.
Yeah, no, I have not heard of anything.
Just a question that was brought up, and we did discuss this last time. I mean, this is, you know, just a concept. We're really close. It did come from the engineer.
Can you just state your name one more
Yep,
time?
no
I'm
problem.
sorry to
Nate
belabor
Carson
it. Okay.
with the developer group. If this does change by 100th, I mean, are we, you know, there's been a lot of discussion. I don't want to have an issue if it changes from, you know, 0.94 to 0.93 because of actual surveying and things like that. That was just a concern for our group. That's okay with 100th, or, I mean, with this concept. We don't expect any changes, but I mean,
You're
there's,
just saying like, if the surveying gets in there and this one right here, number 3 is 0.94 and it ends up being 0.96, then we're still good with that.
yes.
If you readjust those lines a little.
And I think that the nature of the motion and the vote can be specified in that respect. So, and I don't know in the caveat that was initially sort of given, if it was more loosely stated, but it can be specified. So, if, you know, if the council does approve it and, you know, there does need to be some margin of error, I think that
Yes.
can certainly be accounted for.
Yep, great.
And you probably just to take it back to planning, right? And just have planning look at it again if it changes significantly, or, I mean, if it's.
Yeah, I mean,
Need to approve any
The
actuals.
final plat will still have to be
Final plat.
approved,
Mhm.
Right.
so.
But if we are going to restrict it in terms of how much density is permitted, I think that it would be important to, you know, give some parameters to the people
And I
involved.
think it
in
was
that.
like the number of lots that we were more
Yeah.
concerned
Yeah, I
about.
think
So, and that's true. So it would just be
Yeah.
limited by the number of
Right,
lots.
'cause we
Although
weren't-
then I guess that presents its own set of problems, right? I mean, then you have a little tiny lot and then some bigger lots. So I don't know. It's your vote,
I
but you
think
might
if you're
wanna.
optimizing each lot, which is the best benefit for you anyway, then I think we're gonna meet those needs. And the odd shape of this, I'm frankly impressed you're able to pull off what you did. So
There's not much else we can do with it, yeah.
Well, especially having the roads be as wide as they are and, you know,
The house is an island, I think that would be hard,
Yeah.
whoever ends up with the house, right?
Yeah. It'll be something that will- Yep.
yeah, I
Maybe the
think
pool will make it more worth
There
it.
you go.
if you can, you know, try and optimize, you know, keeping as many trees as possible.
Yeah, and that was something, I mean, I built in Summit Creek as well. And
Yeah.
they do have a, you know, I can't remember off the top of my head, but there's a requirement that you have to maintain a certain percentage of trees, of natural vegetation. I mean, that's definitely something I can bring back to the group. I mean, that's something that, you know, I mean, there's a reason we're doing this development is because it is desirable. And part of that desire to come in Woodland Hills is the natural vegetation and what he said. So, I mean, that's something that you know, our group could discuss too, is trying, as we develop and sell lots, that try to maintain some of that vegetation in natural wooded areas.
Yeah, I'm curious also on lot 8. You know, and maybe this is a Wayne question, but does that need to be a full U, or could you put another circle right there at lot 8 and make it just kind of have a,
I think it's a safety thing with emergency vehicles and bringing that in and getting that, that's,
because that wouldn't exceed our cul-de-sac limit, would it?
What's that?
If you only had one entrance to Woodland Hills Drive,
it would make it really hard for snowplow removal.
well, it increased the lot size of 8.
he's talking, putting a dead end here and pulling the.
You know, something like that. Because plowing
Well, I
already is
just
gonna
have
be
to
a pain in
look
the
because
butt.
a dead end road got so long, so we'd have to look at some distances there and stuff. like
Because that doesn't seem even close to the distance we've already got in places in the city, right?
Yeah, have to just take a look, probably not, just have to take a look at that, but.
As long as
Like you said, Janet, I mean, that comes
That
up
has to be- I
later,
think
right? I
it's
mean,
an
this is just
80
about the zoning.
I think it's around
I
80
like
is
the
what I was
two.
thinking. It would reduce those.
For exiting
lot
and-
sizes.
I think it'd have to-
Safety.
It's a fire, safety.
Yeah,
it'd have to be an
exits.
8-foot radius. If it's
Something-
around.
Something to think about potentially, because that'll get us closer to, you know, Joe's request there of, you know, how could we get them to 1 acre lots if possible? And I know math is a thing, physics and reality, but
topography of the land.
Yeah,
It's
so-
still slightly,
just a thought there.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right, thank you. Yeah, Doral.
Full disclosure to the council, the mayor, and the city, the owners of this property are really close friends of mine for 20-some years. And I don't feel comfortable voting on this, and so just be aware of that.
We got a recusal coming up. Huh?
Yeah.
Okay. You just don't want to touch this hot potato.
Well,
Well,
I'm just joking. I think that's ethical and
You'll
so
understand,
good for you.
I have voted against rezoning before, even on this very road. So it would actually help him if I voted, but I don't think it's proper, so thank you.
Thanks for making that disclosure. Okay, well, then we can move on to item 4, which is the 2026 fiscal year budget. So,
Agenda on what?
All the other stuff go first.
oh, okay, yeah, no, that's fair.
Whatever you wanna do.
Yeah, no, we welcome Three Bridges, and so this would be a good time. I think that's a good suggestion,
I'm
Jody.
happy to do it, but we're fine.
Well, the budget,
Waiting our turn.
it could be a
could be a
fairly
while.
lengthy discussion, so, yeah, so let's jump to a less controversial subject, Three Bridges.
Oh, really?
So
I've never heard that before.
I won't hear it again. but-
it's only once a year, so
It's about
it
timing.
came on the right night.
I'd like to introduce James Horsley, is one of our partners on the project, so
Welcome.
He's here to heckle me as I talk to you about. Did you get some information that we sent ahead of time?
I believe
Yes.
it was disseminated.
One was kind of a little bit more flesh on the bones of the deal points. And the other was what the roundabout mailboxes would look like if we redid that. So, and Mr. Mayor, I know this has been a hot button for you. You've wanted to kind of put everything on one agreement. And I think, and Ted can probably confirm this, I think that the county is putting time pressure on the roundabout. Because what I've heard is from them is they want to have this in 3 weeks, they're gonna go to design and they don't want any more outside input after that. And then if we miss that window, once they do the improvements, there's a 5-year moratorium where we can't come in and do it afterwards. So that would force us to the entrance we have further down the hill, which I think we all agree from a traffic standpoint is not a good idea to have. So that's why we've been kind of anticipating. I didn't know about the 5-year moratorium. So might I suggest that if we want to talk through these points, we can, and if we want to try to get an MOU in place before that 3-week window closes for the submittal of the roundabout to the county, we're happy to work on that schedule. If that is something that would, I'm sure that the sentiment is council-wide about trying to get everything wrapped up in one agreement to the extent that we're going to do things, right?
Right, no, and I didn't want to cut you off if you have more to add. I had some comments, but I'll wait my
Well,
turn.
I think that's kind of, I think if that's true, then that kind of puts the onus on us to get the roundabout discussion concentrated on tonight and try to get an agreement on that tonight. And I'll let Ted kind of support what, from an engineering standpoint, what you want as a city, but I'm here to talk about any level of detail on any number of items, including if we want to just the roundabout, so.
Well, just preliminarily, so, and I think that what I'm going to recommend is that we have a closed session at the end of tonight's meeting, because this is a land acquisition, basically. You are wanting to acquire land, so I think that the council and myself will want to make sure that we're thinking through all the angles strategically. One thing, I mean, I think that when Trey was here and we were talking about it, I think it was expressed by a number of people, some distaste at this sort of accelerated leap forward. And it does raise some concerns. And candidly, Larry, when I saw the term sheet, it seemed like it was lacking in a number of areas that I felt we had in good faith sort of talked about, And so.
Do you want to talk about some of those now with that?
Well, but I've talked this over with some members of the city staff, and I think that there might be, and this is obviously the decision for the council to make, but I think that there might be a way that we can accommodate the accelerated timeline, but also make sure that we don't in the process lose all our bargaining power as a city for this moving forward. And so one thing that I was going to propose, and obviously this is just my thoughts on the topic, but if we were to acquiesce, or I guess sell, trade the property under the mailboxes in exchange for new mailboxes and with the redesign per your request, I think that we would, in my opinion, need an agreement that you wouldn't annex into Salem, that you would be here. And that way we would have the negotiating power relating to zoning. And it wouldn't be something where you get your roundabout and then when you don't get what you want in zoning, you walk. So that is something that I would say we can accommodate a more ambitious timeline potentially, but we would have to have you locked in to Woodland Hills.
Your portion, yeah, right?
Yeah.
Well, we are negotiating right here.
Right.
I obviously, we want to do what's best for you. This has to be a win for you. We wouldn't expect to get some of the benefits we're looking for without some of the benefits you're looking for. It has to be a win-win. I think we all agree on that. I'm personally in agreement that getting everything done at once is a good idea. We've been talking about this stuff for a year and a half or 2 years or something. And if we're, to the extent that the category of win-win is something where we're going to put all this stuff. Should we roll up our sleeves in the next week or two and try to get something out to the public?
Is it possible to do that though, when you're talking a salt shed relocation or rebuild? Is it possible to do it when it comes to water? I mean, there are some things that are not going to be able to be buttoned down in that time frame, I don't think.
That's a good question. I think the better question is this ever going to happen without a deadline? I think the answer is no. We have a deadline now, right? So I think some things might have a longer tail on them, but we could set parameters. And we just need to know, are we going to do anything with you or we can do nothing with you, right? And so we're available to go through the negotiation process, the public hearing process, the voting process as quickly as you would like to. And if we can hit that window of the submission to the county for the roundabout, we will. I mean, we won't hold up the process. It may not work for you, but I'm not sure it happens without a deadline, like most things in life.
Well, and I think we've been able to move fairly quickly, right, in the meetings that we've been able to have. And there has been a couple things, water has been the biggest hangup. And that's what's delayed us. And I think we've now got that information.
Yeah, that's why I think we
So I
could
think
hit
we
the
can
finish
move.
line, because we couldn't do anything until the water question was answered, so.
So I think back to your point though, right? I think we could create a deadline for ourselves while creating what the mayor's proposed for the roundabout need, right? So maybe instead of just the one, making it a 2, and then bundling all that together in a formalized development agreement.
So the annex issue, it's not something that we want to do or planning on doing. I think what we're looking for is to make that developable, and I think we can do that here. I don't think we need to take it to Salem to do that.
Right.
The density we're looking at for that area is less than some of the density we have on the north end of the property that's in Salem. So, but it's in keeping with kind of overall plan that we have. I mean, if we need to come back 2 or 3 times in the next week or 2, we're willing to do it. I think we're close enough on all the issues. I think we know all of the goals that we have and that we would want to accomplish together, but
they do go beyond what you had in that term sheet. I mean, like the salt shed is kind of one of those things, like when we were talking bundling, I mean, that is something that I would consider part of that bundle, but you have it listed as an option. And so that's where, and it doesn't even address revenues from the hotels or something in lieu of that. And it would be something where I think that we would expect some commitment to the city long-term so that even down the road, there's not annexation into Salem.
So what we can't promise is we will never take it out of Woodland Hills and try to put it into our project in Salem if we don't have density. I can't make that promise. So I would only move it if that's the only way I could get the density.
But see, then what that does is that puts us in this standoff where you're asking us to surrender our biggest chip in the game, which is the roundabout access. And all we really get out of that is a new mailbox, which, I mean, that's nice, but it's not really something
Yeah,
that,
I've never, you and I have not seen eye to eye on this point, I guess, to say it softly. I've never seen it as a big bargaining chip for us. We don't want to go down the hill and access there. You don't want us to go down the hill and access there. The county doesn't want us to do that. The roundabout is the best solution for all of us. That's just all on its own. If that's what we did, we'd all be benefited by that, so. And so if we don't do that, we can survive, we don't need it. I think it's a better entrance to the project to come in off of the roundabout and get on a nice bridge. That's actually one of the 3 bridges. That's our namesake, so I don't want to lose a bridge here.
no.
2
And
bridges just doesn't have the same, cachet, but
I think that I think that we can make this a win-win. I think, but again, it's something where my concern all along has been sort of peeling back our leverage in a piecemeal manner, and then suddenly we have nothing to bargain with. And so that's why if we're gonna give up the roundabout property,
Yeah.
which I maintain as a significant concession, then I think that we should be entitled to some assurances that you're not just gonna, when we can't see eye to eye on zoning, which I don't think is gonna be the case.
well,
I think that there's a reasonable, I mean, we're already largely, I don't think there's any surprises there. I mean, I think that we know what your intentions are, and I think that our planning commission is apprised of that and has, a willingness to cooperate in that respect too.
yeah, I think all the cards are on the table. We all know what makes sense for each other. But I think Ben made a good point. Now that the water is kind of decided, you've got your new pump in, the capacity. That was the holdup. Had that been done 12 months ago, I think we would have had a deal shortly thereafter. So here we sit with something out of our control, this 5-year moratorium. Had you heard that before? I had never heard that before from the county.
Yeah,
So
explain
Once the
that.
county, once
County,
the,
and I talked to Glenn about this, sorry. Talked to Glenn, the Assistant Public Works Director, but once they do work on the roundabout, they don't allow any tie-ins or connections or construction on the road for 5 years. Basically, you can't touch it for 5 years once it's done. The road, that's kind of a county typical for their roads.
had you heard that before though?
I haven't from the county, but several cities do this. Once they redo a road, they don't allow for a certain period of time, and I've heard it all the way from 2 years to 5 years, anybody to go cut into that road or damage the road.
So basically, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, but it's kind of I don't think it's specific to the roundabout. I think it's to the county in general. When they redo a road in general, they don't allow anybody to cut the road regardless of where it's at in the county for 5 years.
So, and when did you hear that from them?
I talked to Glenn a week ago.
Yeah, I heard about it 2 days ago from Trey, so.
Well, I heard about him, well, it's about 2 weeks ago when I talked to him, I heard it the first time. And then I ran into him in person and talked to him again on the phone, and we talked about the whole roundabout, what their plans are and stuff like that. So he brought it up again, and same thing, he says, if we're gonna do this, we're gonna do it once, so it's.
Yeah, that's
So
what
I-
I talked to him too, and that's what he said. So Larry, you're saying that this 5-year moratorium only gives you 3 weeks from today to put
To
something in
submit,
place?
well, we've been working on the plan. I think we have something to submit. I think you've
So
seen it
what's
now.
the 3 weeks that you're?
The 3 weeks is after 3 weeks, they're not taking any more changes. They're gonna go into their internal design and engineering. And we don't have
But
any,
the
we don't
county
have
will
the
do.
ability to submit this plan to them for our road coming off the roundabout after 3 weeks from now.
They'll design whatever they think is best.
The county has already selected their consultant and finished their negotiations with their engineer, and they're gonna start design on it. So when I was talking to Glenn, this was last week, he said probably about 4 weeks, they're gonna be going under design. Once they start design, they don't wanna redesign it. So they wanna know what they're designing to start with. And that was his comment, was within 4 weeks, they would like to know and have an agreement between Three Bridges and the city that we're gonna allow that property as an access to their development or not. So they know what they're designing when they start designing in 4 weeks.
So if I don't get it in now 3 weeks, they're telling us, I I would think they'd be open to an extension or something, but so far that's what they've been telling us.
But is it realistic for us to put an agreement relating to salt hit or salt shed? I mean, if we're gonna do a comprehensive agreement, which that would have been my preference, because then it's like, let's make this a comprehensive deal, but
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem feasible for us to be able to do something relating to water and the salt shed. And so that's why this way, what I was suggesting seems like it's a balance between the urgency of this and keeping the city's interests, in mind.
Well, I have to say, I can't, given everything that's done to the west side, I can't contractually tie the city with no zoning, or tie the property with no zoning to the city. However, I think, I don't know what the holdup would be for you. We're willing to do what it takes and meet as many times as we need to get the comprehensive agreement in place. I have no problem with doing that. And I thought.
But that, I mean, so the zoning would be part of that.
Yep.
Okay, well, I mean, I don't know.
I do think, though, a comprehensive agreement has to go through several, several bodies of
Right.
people to look at. And that's a time constraint on your part, but it's time for us legally to have things in place at a certain time frame. So
Right.
it's longer
That's-
than 3 weeks.
That's why I'm asking, and if it's not possible, and if we can't get this in, I can't tie up the land with no density. I mean, because you could come back and say, we just want it to be open. We don't want any density.
We want the dirt pile is what we want, so.
That will be moved. That will be.
I know, I'm,
That's why I was wondering what the mayor was thinking. We get past the dirt problem.
yeah, we're gonna go into the topsoil business and.
Yeah, that's all gonna
Still
be,
there, like-
and for anyone who's here, who hasn't heard it, that's gonna be gone. It's a temporary place for it. It'll all be used for backfill on pipe trenches, or, and sewer water and whatnot, and road base. So we'll be eating up all of that dirt. So.
And I don't want to get up into the weeds on that, because I have every confidence that you guys will manage that. So if I'm hearing you right, then you're saying that the concessions relating to the roundabout in exchange for the new mailbox and the agreement to no annexation, that's a non-starter. for your side.
I can't tie up the land where there's a possibility of getting no density. That just doesn't work. So is there something else we can do?
What density are you looking
Yeah, that's
for?
what I'm wondering. What density are you talking about?
Come up
6
with
per
a
acre.
density on it,
You want 6 per acre on that part.
6 per acre.
That's what I'm wondering is, I mean, we could,
Could we come up?
but then again, then we lose a big bargaining chip.
Well,
That I see, you may not see it that way, but I see that the zoning is, I mean, these are our,
but if we do that, what's left that you're gonna try to get? A million,
Well, the
$1.5 million
drainage.
water tank, which we're willing to say yes to if everything, I mean, I think, I don't know what legal hoops, so Carrie, I don't know. You may not be able to do this in the time that we have, or we might be able to get a week or two, county or something, right? But we're willing to
Jody
try.
has something.
So Larry, I think part of the problem is we don't have a zone for that right now in the
Yeah.
city.
It
So.
would be a
to come-
development agreement. You wouldn't have to have a zone. Development agreements are basically spot zoning for a project with a zoning.
Development agreement for 10 acres, or do we have to have more than that?
No, we don't have that one.
Okay.
So-
That's the question.
Anyway, I think we're ready to give you kind of everything you want. I don't know. I mean, one sit-down meeting, and I think we would be able to come to agreement on what the deal looks like. Then how do we paper it? How do we make sure that both parties are protected so that it stays in place?
okay.
And then we may have some more procedural or even legislative or legal hoops to jump through, but at least we have an MOU that we know what's gonna happen, right?
But will it get us, I mean, again, the county deadline is the one that looms large.
Well, can we get an MOU in place with it? I don't know of anything about the deal that we've ever talked about that is off the table that we couldn't work out
Yeah, I think we
in
just
one
got a
session.
I think we just got a miscommunication kind of on that high level bulletin, right, that we got. That's missing a couple things that I think we want to sit down and just talk with you.
Well,
And those may have been missed in the fact that, Trey was here and we were in you know, you
I-
weren't able to make it, unfortunately.
I think we can probably talk about that for 30 minutes and have them on something like this and create an MOU and go forward with the deal that gets you your water tank and us handling the stormwater and us putting in the mailboxes and getting you the, you know, I think all the things that you need can be accomplished.
Salt shed?
Yeah, we just, you know, we've been trying for over a year to find a new place for the salt shed. So now what we're looking at is probably rebuilding the salt shed on the same site and then using the leftover land for some of the things we need, for some equipment that we'd like to have, golf course equipment and whatnot. So it's not ideal. It's not the size that we would want to handle some employee parking, for example.
Right.
But it may be all that we have in that area of the project, so we have to get parking somewhere else on the project. It's just not the size we need, but we can still do a new salt shed on that site. We don't have to own the site. We just have to probably put a little building next to the salt shed, so. I don't, and you know, we're almost trying to piece the whole thing together now,
Right.
but I don't think it's longer than an hour meeting to get all the deal points and have it written up in an MOU and as a part of that, yeah, we would agree not to move the land at all, and that's fine. In the MOU, we'd have a, you know, the parties will endeavor to get a development agreement in place yielding 6 per acre and all of the architecture and the landscaping, everything has to go through the process. It has to look nice because we want it to, right? It's kind of the gateway to our project, so.
Yeah.
Our goals are aligned in that as well. So I think we could pull this thing off in the time we have to get to an MOU that we sign and lock me in as much as you need to on not de-annexing. And let's get your water tank pinned down, which is gonna save you $1.3 million or something.
Yeah, no, and I don't wish to suggest that, it's just, you know, this is a pretty sharp pivot where we are right now from where we have been. And so, but, and I think that, you know, you've been forthright in your concerns and hopefully you felt that we've been in ours, but it's something where, I mean, we just have to be very careful that we don't hand over the keys to the kingdom, so to speak, without getting the value that I think that we owe to the residents as this transaction moves forward.
I would agree with that. I wouldn't expect you to do a deal that doesn't work for you. And I don't think I've ever asked in any meeting about this at a high level for that.
Fair enough. Okay, well, I think, unless you want to go through more, I think that kind of gives us, maybe after tonight, we can schedule something and, you know, try to get that MOU put together, and see if we can't get something comprehensive at least in place that it's still gonna have to, like, to your point, Carrie, is gonna have to go through all the, I mean, we are a city, and so we have to get public input on all aspects of this.
And I'd be happy to sit and answer questions or bring in plans or, you know, whatever that process takes us through.
Is there
I
any,
agree. That's what we do.
possibility of the county having, you know, giving you extended time?
Well, that's what I'm gonna suggest. We go and talk to them about it, right? Because they kind of sprung this on us, so.
Yeah, and I've talked to Glenn a little bit about this. I think we can buy a little bit more time. They're gonna invite, they're gonna be having a kickoff meeting soon with their engineers to kick off this project. And us in Salem will be there. And I think at that point, we could talk a little bit about schedule and probably get a little more time, just knowing the engineering process. I mean, they're gonna be 4 weeks just trying to get their survey done anyway, so I think we can buy a little more time.
I think we can too. I was surprised that there's never the urgency that someone says there is. From to start from scratch, right, from zero and go, exactly right. The survey is gonna take at least a month, so.
Okay, and Spencer's got something, he's barely containing himself.
I've never known government to be champing at the bit for a project. So asking for an extension, and this isn't anybody that's here, I promise, I'm not taking a cheap shot. But when it comes to like roads and things like that and building things, if you ask for an extension, there's no reason that, I don't, especially, hey, we're still working something out with the city, they're gonna grant it. You can buy, it's not even buying the time, it's asking for the time. And this 3-week whatever that they've thrown at me is probably just to, hey, where are you guys at with that? Let us know. You need to sit down with the city again and talk. That would be my read on this whole thing. I'm also into the analytical, nerdy stuff as well, and that would be my suggestion. Even just the idea is ask for an extension, sit down with the city, see what's really there. As a resident of the city, I'm backing the mayor. Don't give up any of our cards until we have what we want. And this extension, this 3-week deadline that we're looming under can be pushed. The government, I've never known a government to say, oh yeah, we have to, like, once it's scheduled and on the schedule, that's one thing. But whereas this is still on the drawing board, they're more than willing to kick the can down the road, I guarantee it.
Okay, thanks for that, Spencer.
Thank you.
I agree 100% with that.
Yeah, I think it's a fiscal year theme, so I think they're trying to get the project started in construction before July is what their goal is because of the fiscal year, but so I think just given the nature of how the project goes, I think they're gonna be a few weeks at least getting work done beyond that 3 weeks, trying to get to a point where they're gonna be ready to design, so. I think, well, and I've talked a little bit about that offline, and I think there's some workability there.
Okay, no, that's good. And I hope that you leave encouraged and we feel encouraged. I mean, because I think that there's still a lot of opportunity here that's in both parties' interests.
I agree, Mayor, I agree 100%. And frankly, this kick in the shins by the county, although it's probably not the tight deadline that they say, I think it's probably good for us to feel some urgency to either get a deal or walk away friends, right? And just, let's just move forward. So we'll move as quickly as you're able to have us come and sit down and negotiate a few points.
Okay, yeah, so we'll get something scheduled, I think, you know, after, once we get through the budget, if there's still, we might be run off, I don't know, this could end in some kind of a pitchfork mob, sort of a thing, but.
So we need to leave now, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, this is your escape hatch.
No, I think we've had a good relationship so far. We want to be good neighbors. And so if we can have some mutual wins, that would be great. Let's try to do it.
I agree. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you. Thanks for being here. Actually, I think we've met before. Nice to see you again.
Good to see you. Hope that was a good meeting in the past.
So, I'm sorry, I actually didn't give, hey, Larry?
No, we're good.
Anybody have any?
No, appreciate you.
We're gonna talk it in our closed session afterwards about this.
Yeah, no, I just want to make sure that there's no council member that while you're here, I inconsiderately moved forward without.
We're fine.
We're good? Okay.
I would have spoke up if I needed it. You know
Okay,
that.
all right, yeah, no, all right, just making sure. All right, thank you.
Good job, Mayor.
Thanks. Okay, now the budget. So with respect, I know that Chris provided some options. So as far as my opinion is concerned, what I would propose to the council is that we take the route that we talked about where we do the debt financing of the roads and get them done. And my reasons are largely, I do think that, and I don't mean this as a criticism of anybody because, you know, we wanted to be mindful of expenses, but I think that sometimes in so doing, there's changes in administrations, there's changes in councils and projects that we invest in don't get finished. And so I think that if we do this, it's on a more aggressive timeline. I think the value of our money is, it's greater by doing the debt financing. I think that's supported by the data that the finance committee put together. I think that putting us on a relatively ambitious timeline will see to it that we get this done. I mean, I won't be sitting in this chair anymore, but as a resident, that's important to me. I'd like to see that we actually get our roads where they have to be. So, but you know, it's your vote. You hold the purse strings for the city. And so that's why Chris provided some additional options and they're certainly there. But that's my pitch to the council is that we do this and get this across the finish
I
line.
think too, to that point, I mean, we've always tried to save up for whatever we need, but by the time we get there, it's more expensive.
Like
And-
double.
And that's why we've quote unquote kicked it down the road, right? Kicked the can down the road and getting some of these infrastructure projects done. Because we've tried to be, good stewards, but not recognizing that getting it done right the first time would have saved us a lot of money. And so I agree that I think this is a good path going forward to get it done in a smaller time frame. I think our residents are looking to have safe, reliable roads. And now that we have our pavement management plan, we don't have a reason to wait to get them done and done right. And then utilizing taxpayer dollars with the payment of the bond rather than just continuing to save and never having enough.
But I do have a question for Chris and Ted. If we do this and do it with the financing, does that affect our ability to get a bond for, phase 2 of our water project? Like, does that affect financing as far as what we're allowed to borrow or able to borrow? Does it affect us in any way because it's a different fund or?
Right, correct. It's a different fund. So water has to pay for water.
Right.
So we can only do water projects with water revenues. So these are coming out of the general obligation funds.
So it doesn't
through a GO bond,
affect-
So one doesn't affect the other.
Okay. Well, I just wanted that clarification because that was a question I had.
Yeah.
I have a question for you that's a little off topic, but it does go into the water. DEQ is proposing some statewide water fees.
I just listened to a presentation on that today, and
Uh-huh.
I can tell you what they are, but I know this is a different
Yeah,
discussion.
but
so
I
we
just
can
want to
do
make
that.
sure that doesn't, how that might impact our budget if that goes through too. Because there's several things.
Oh, it's going through, it's already
Yeah.
enacted, it's going into.
They have a couple more public hearings, but it's gonna still happen.
That's just to tell us about.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
our January 26th, it's going into.
Yep.
Can you talk more about that when we get to the public works side?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That'd be great, thank you.
I just want to make sure that doesn't impact this budget discussion
No.
if we're gonna have to open the budget to pay that fee.
No.
Is there any way to not pay off the 2% loan, which would turn into 4% with the new loan or higher? Is there any way not to pay that loan off and get another loan that doesn't have to be 2.1 million, it can be something less, and use savings for the road instead of for paying off the loan? I'm bugged by paying off a low rate loan like that.
I think Chris put together a scenario, that scenario on his information.
Is that D that I couldn't understand or?
Maybe, and he's probably better to talk through that than I am,
Okay.
so.
So
Yeah.
option B, Bravo.
B.
Oh.
Yeah, and so looking at scenarios, it drains our cash too fast, and we would have to look at proposing tax rate increases in a few years for multiple years thereafter.
Talk me into it, yep.
Okay.
Okay.
So the cheaper option then, if I'm hearing you correctly, Chris, is to pay off that 2% loan.
For multiple reasons. One, when I've been looking at this and you guys have been looking at this, can we hit how best do we not hit the residents' pockets? And option C, by going out and getting the loans, does that and virtually keeps our savings account built up, possibly to the point that it's still a little too high, but we can work with that. But the key that I was looking at is line 4 on this particular option C is not having to raise, as of right now, not having to raise property taxes. We could just stay within our own budgets here.
I had a snide comment. I bet Ted could work with lowering our savings account.
Oh,
Has a gift.
We do need a brush truck.
Sorry, Ted, that was what I thought. I'm sorry.
Chris, I've got a question. On
Yes.
these numbers, so from our savings account numbers there, are those numbers, how do I put this? Are they balanced, like, balanced your credit or your checkbook numbers, or are they what is currently in there? What I mean by that is we have some monies in there that have already been allocated. For example, we have the grant money for the community development grant, right? It's in that savings account, I believe. That's not incorporated in these numbers, or is it?
Yes, but what I've done in this beginning balance number that I've highlighted here is drop this down a couple $100,000. So our bank balance is actually higher than this.
Oh,
So taking that into consideration.
so that is a balanced checkbook number, not what's in there currently, right?
Correct. There's more in there currently.
Perfect. That eases my soul a lot.
Yeah.
So, Chris, real quick, why don't we take out less of a loan and use up some of that savings and get it down to where we think it should be?
We can. So what the overall, I can tweak this budget until we all turn blue. And I can tweak each budget until we all turn blue. There was a definitive pattern that was starting to show, like if we go to option A, which includes no tax increase, and then breaking the pavement management plan out over 7 years, you can see this drains our savings down, where we would need a property tax rate increase in 2031, plus absorb any additional increases in cost of materials. So that would be option A. Option B took into consideration, we get the additional bond. I think like kind of what Dora was talking about, get an additional bond, not paying off that bond. But overall, what that was meaning is we're going to have to start taking property tax rates starting in 2029 and hitting the residents again, just to keep our savings account at $250,000. Option C is the one that we've kind of looking at potentially doing, and that is no property tax rate increases for the foreseeable future, paying off the note that is 2%, getting a new note that's going to be about 4.5%, 5%, and getting all the road projects done in the next 12 to 18 months. However, yes, there's a difference of about 2 to 2.5% higher interest rate, but yet Brian helped me, is a 9 to 10% rate we're getting on asphalt increases anyways every year. So we're actually losing money by not getting this money borrowed and getting these projects done today.
Well, what I'm asking is instead of 6.1 mil or 1 point, what did you have on that on option C? 1.61, right? Why don't we do 1.58 and not and use some of that savings up? We never go below what is it, 451, right, is the very lowest. We could actually drop that loan down a little bit and take some of that out of the savings. That was my question on that one.
And then in option A, I ran that scenario where we could actually do, let's see. What we could do is, yes, front load it up front right now. What I was trying to do is just show you just the skeleton of what it could look like. We could tweak this thing out even more to exactly what you're saying, Brian, and get less money, get our bank balance down to 250 and borrow less money from the bank. Yes.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, I like option C with that possible caveat. I wanted to know if there's any downsides to not getting that big of a loan.
No, so we could let me go back up to the bank balance here. We could take this bank balance by the end of fiscal year 26, and instead of having 830,000, we'll just drop that right to $250,000 and get less money from the bank.
I actually think that makes the most sense. I was curious about that myself as to why we're whittling down the savings kind of in small increments as opposed to just taking that full roughly 2 million, applying it right to the project and then just leaving the 250 in there.
But I don't want savings to go negative in future years or, go lower than 250. That's.
Yeah, that's my question too,
You
is
gotta start with a
what,
little higher number, right? Because you're gonna have some increased costs over the years, so.
what's
You may
there?
not take the whole 2 million, but maybe 1.75 or something, leave you 500,000. So as your costs increase over the years, you're not dropping below that 250.
Yeah, what guarantees are that we keep that safety net in place? Because I think that's an important part of the overall budget, is making sure that we do have some contingency in there.
What's the rate on our savings? The interest rate we earn?
I haven't looked at it recently, but it's been 2.5% to 3%.
Okay.
Is there anything else that those funds are committed for? Or are some of those funds, I mean, you know, we don't want to drain funds that are committed to something else that we've already committed them
They
to.
were, but I gave up my helicopter.
We
The
have,
sacrifices you make.
When we propose this, if we go with this, I'm gonna put that as a contingency. That
How about
the
we just name where
helicopter
the
will
road
never
after
come to
you?
pass.
And old pilot too.
It's a joke.
All right, but that's, I think, where we were, I mean, I think this does get us to that balance that where we keep some for a rainy day, but not an excessive amount. But then we just take the bulk and apply it and then borrow the rest and get the roads done in about 2 years, right?
Yeah, I imagine by next, probably fall, we could have them done.
All
Okay.
except for the ones that are in the water projects, which for those of you on Maple, Sky Lake, and what,
Highline.
Highline Schoolhouse.
3 of the council.
Yeah, 3 of our
East
council
Lake,
roads.
East Valley.
So Chris, I want to make sure I understand this though, and for everybody else too. This 7-year proposal for property taxes and having 0% increases is a 0% increase commitment from us for any potential funds needed for roads.
Something else
Right.
could come up.
We might have something else that comes up that does, you know,
Yeah.
the ambulance blows up or something, right? Which
We can't
who knows?
guarantee it.
We can
I
never
think that's a
bind
good
a
point.
future council to a decision we make.
You know,
Correct,
but I want
correct.
that just clearly articulated that while we will try our best, that other things may pop up that may end up requiring an increase in the future, just not for roads.
correct.
And great clarification.
Yeah, that's, so I didn't want to make that clarification.
I know, but I don't want someone to think that we're guaranteeing.
Right, so because we're not, this is just for the roads on everyone in the 18 months except for the ones mentioned. Do we have budget for those roads as part, in the future? Will we be able to budget for those roads as the water
So
projects are done?
We would, the plan is, or would be, to do what we did with the other water project. We do the roads and we do the water. Makes sense to do them together. I've been working on, we know what that budget is, what those projects are gonna cost. I just was last week going through, looking at all our water rates and going through kind of a water rate analysis to see what it would take. I'm not ready to report on that yet, but that is being looked into, and it all ties to this discussion we'll have about the drinking water rate they're gonna be charging. And the purpose for that, but generally we are looking at that, but I don't know timing on it.
So we're saying to our residents, basically, as we talk about roads and this no increase for roads, but there is the possibility of a water rate increase to finish the water projects.
If that's what it, yeah.
But that's what it takes.
Pencils out to be.
Potentially. I just want to make sure that we're not saying that that there won't be something else increased because we're saying there's no increase after this.
In tax, yeah,
Yep.
taxes can't pay for water, so it wouldn't
Yep.
be, it'd be a water rate. It would have to pay for water.
Yeah.
Which would include the roads.
So Chris, another thing here is, obviously, these are all hypothetical numbers until we really talk with the bank. Now, Jerome Powell has come out and said that in September, he is anticipating lowering the interest rate, which I'm assuming will also make your numbers look a little bit better, potentially, because municipal rates are typically even better than public rates, right? And he said that's hopefully in September, which should reflect on this, so it might actually even look better than this. Is that a true statement?
Yes, and we can't pay off these bonds until February anyways. So hopefully the rates will continue to tick down by the time we pay them off. We don't want to get this loan closed until we're like 45 days out from starting, so we don't accrue much interest. Because interest starts the day we close the loan. But I just want to tell you, the proposed interest rate that they're talking about today is 4.46. Or excuse me, 4.64. That's as of the time they quoted us, and these numbers do change.
And I would say we run off of savings until the very end, or as much as we're planning to burn down savings. And then take the loan, at that point, that will save us even more interest, so.
I guess Ted's ready to go on 2 projects, it sounds like.
Yeah.
And we can pay cash for those.
Okay, any other questions or comments?
So basically, we're talking option C with the caveat of what Brian suggested and you looking at some numbers, waiting until right before the project is due to close on the loan, and maybe by then the interest rate is lower. But we can still go with the cash that we have on hand to start the projects Ted wants to start. Is that a summary?
Yes.
Okay.
And as a vote, as the vote you guys are gonna do, in the next part of the meeting, just for everybody's knowledge, you're gonna wanna look the Excel spreadsheet. If you do decide to do option C, that will be the official budget, which will then get translated back into the official accounting program of the city. Plus, you received a PDF version of the enterprise funds. And those would be, so this year, it's not one nice package. It's not one nice report. It's going to be option C, if that's what you guys choose on the spreadsheet. And then the PDF that I had sent out earlier also. And I will have that pulled up here. And there's only one change from what you guys voted on earlier. And that was just adding the debt for the truck and the plows, tractor and stuff.
Okay.
And here it is.
Okay. Thank you, Chris.
And then
All
next
right.
meeting, Mayor, if you would
Yeah.
like, we can have our financial advisor from Zions Bank come talk more. We can get the process started, but he'd be happy to join us with the Zoom on our second week meeting.
So do we have like a few different options then? Is that something, or he would just walk us through? I mean, or is it kind of like a linear process, or is it something like?
Yeah, he gave us 2 options, one to pay off the bond and get a whole new one, or one to what he's calling dovetail on our current bond, adding another bond to it. But that is coming up as the property tax increase to the citizens. So I would just have him explain any questions about the bonding process, how long it takes. A lot of it just falls back on Jody and me getting the documents, the resolutions, and everything up, so we can in February get that paid off and get moving.
And by whatever budget the council adopts tonight, though, we are in effect committing to that one. I mean, that particular loan, right? I mean, it is something where he may come and discuss some options, but the commitment tonight is basically going to be, yeah, we want to do this particular loan, right? Is that correct? Okay. But I think that would be useful. I think it'd be, if he or she doesn't mind just coming and giving a brief presentation on kind of walking us through it, I think that would be time well spent.
Does the finance committee support option C? Do we know?
It was their suggestion.
Yeah,
Thank you.
they felt it was a better value, better.
Tim Larson suggested it.
Yeah.
Didn't he, Chris?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, then I think we're ready to move on. Thanks, Ted. Thanks, Chris. Jumping back to item 5, discussion of Summit Creek G1 Phase B subdivision, including the engineering cost estimate. Wayne, is that you? Thanks.
We're coming to you with the recommendation of the planning commission. That's probably a little bit more than a recommendation, because normally we wouldn't be coming to you. But because the development agreement that we have with Summit Creek, we're proceeding under our old subdivision ordinance, which require approval of both planning commission and the council. So just, I lay that as groundwork. Anyway, we heard the presentation of Bucky with Summit Creek, and we approved this phase of development. They're ready to move forward on it. They've done the work on their other phases, and this will be a rather large one because of the extended territory that is included in this. They're going to be taking the road down off of Eagle Nest, taking away that cul-de-sac down there and going around and tying in then to Summit Creek.
And these are all private roads in here, in this.
It will be. The gate, there'll be a gate just beyond where the current cul-de-sac is. Or excuse me, before the current cul-de-sac.
From Eagle's Nest.
On Eagle's Nest, yeah, to take it down the rest of the way. And it's gonna be some difficult terrain down there too. They're
Yeah,
gonna have to deal with.
it's just, that's why the open space is there. It's not necessarily park, it's just it's non-developable.
It's hard,
land.
yeah, it'll be hard to develop that.
So will that open space be owned by the HOA? Okay.
Yes. We've had our Jones DeMille contract engineer look at it. There was a bit of back and forth with questions they had with Summer Creek. Those got addressed adequately. And we've got their engineer's estimate, so you'll be approving that as well tonight. They're going to proceed with not bonding for everything. They will kind of a pay-as-you-go, but they will have to put up a bond for the inspections and the durability. For when it's finished, there'll be a durability period to guarantee the work that's been done. So they've got a contractor lined up already to do the work. So,
And just for the public's knowledge, because it's a development agreement and it's already in place, their density can be, the lowest I think was a half acre, and the largest was just over 2 acres, so it kind of evens out.
yes, and by and large, they're doing the larger lots. And so it's working out though with the mix that they're doing some mix right now of the smaller lots up by Nebo Circle. They're putting a few of the smaller lots in there with.
I just want to make sure that our residents understand if they listen in later that, I mean, because we were just talking about the development agreement and with the other zone change, that's why this can be different.
Mixed up, yeah.
There is one thing that we will need to do, and that is we will need to hold a public hearing for a vacation of a portion of that cul-de-sac. We have not done that yet, and so that will need to be done by the city council.
Off of Eagle's Nest.
Yes, yeah. Because that'll be turned into part of their new property vacated by the city. Like we did before with a portion of the roads there. Doral?
Wayne, does this give any non-Summit Creek citizens the ability to hook to sewer later at some time since it's going down through, maybe buy some homes that are on septic?
Our sewer lines will run down, generally are running down Summer Creek Drive. So that'll be the connection point to whoever, whether it's Summer Creek or another developer, they'll be tying into that. Summer Creek's they're gonna run a long sewer line But we will have easements for that for future repairs if needed. But it will connect into Summit Creek Drive. But the city is going to service their water and sewer lines. So we'll have easements for access to those lines wherever they are for maintenance and repair.
So I was just, that new line doesn't go all the way to 11,200
No.
then? Okay, sorry.
To answer your question, no, it doesn't gain access for anybody.
Right.
Do you know what the current slope is on that hill? Ted, maybe you know. Do you know what the current slope is on that hill down into the Eagles Nest cul-de-sac?
You're talking about goes down by my house?
Yeah.
I don't know, it's probably, I guess less than 10%, but,
Because right now we're looking at 12% here,
Right, on this topography
Um,
map.
and I'm not sure, do we? Do
That's
you know what,
allowed.
15's our max.
you know
on
what
roads.
Sky Lake
Sorry.
is? Is Sky Lake 15?
12's our max on roads.
It's more because that was before we had the
Oh,
rules.
Sky Lake?
Yeah, Sky Lake is,
It's much steeper than 15.
yeah.
To give you an idea, where you go down off Oak, that steepest part of Oak 17.
Okay, so I watched this concrete truck drive down there today, that part? Perfect.
Where we put those nice hard barricades at the bottom, so.
The concrete. Okay, that answered my question. I'm just thinking David over there is probably concerned about us dying and plowing the streets, so he should be okay.
I'm concerned about having no place to turn around at the bottom of that, where there's no longer be a cul-de-sac.
Summit Creek has
Okay.
has mentioned it, no agreements made one way or the other about eventually plowing their private roads and so forth over there. But that's just a discussion that we'll have to open up with them sometime if we want to pursue that. So, we do have the water shares for all these lots in there, so that's done and taken care of.
Does this satisfy our I guess another question, Ted. Is this satisfy our stormwater requirements? After our stormwater survey that Jones and DeMille did for us, we had some need over on that side of the city. Does this development help take care of any of that requirement?
Oh, yeah.
So there is a basin down there and it needed some improvements that came out of that study. Very minor improvements that will handle this development.
So this development will.
They had to
take
look
care
at
of
that and so Summit Creek is participating in those improvements to help out with those. Which are gonna be done hopefully possibly this year in the spring.
Does participating mean we're paying some, they're paying some, or they're paying it?
No, it's a 50-50 deal because it's a city facility that we have acquired.
Perfect, okay.
And so it's part ours and this partly helps them, but it's our facility, so.
So in that open space, there's a little something there that I can't, the detention basin, is that the detention basin you're talking about? That's in the open space that they have off of Eagle Nest where it's private? There's a catch basin and a detention basin.
Likely, I'm not sure. I'd have to get an aerial map and see where that
Okay.
falls.
I just see that in place, so I was just wondering if that would be completely theirs because the open space is owned by their HOA.
I don't think that's already,
No, that's a new one.
that's a new one.
Okay, so that's a new one that will handle the overflow water and these channels in that.
And it ties into our one down low.
That will tie in, okay. So it may absorb something before it gets down to the bottom.
Mhm.
Okay,
You'll see there's a diagram up on the.
yeah, that's the one I'm looking at.
I want to draw your attention, on the left side of that, there is a road that ends
I saw
just
that.
150 feet or so in. That's where the next phase will tie in to that road and go around.
And it looks like there's a catch basin maybe planned over there. It says on the map, there's a culvert with a possible catch basin with the rock line ditches.
Okay.
Is that the portion of the development that's currently not in our city?
No, no. it adjoins that, but it's not part of that. They've removed that part, but they may come back and want
To
to
annex it.
pursue annexing it from Elk Ridge.
Okay.
That'd be great.
Yeah, also, all of the lots that are shown in this have identified a buildable lot space with the topography.
We've asked them to do that.
I assume that might be the dotted,
It's a
lines.
blue dotted line.
okay, so some of them have a little bit bigger spot than others, but
Yeah,
they'll
and some of
still,
them have a large open space because they can't build on it.
right,
Because of the topography and they've got a
Yeah.
smaller.
lot 221 is that way. Kind of a smaller building lot, but a
A lot of space.
big space.
And they will put some of their trails and so forth through some of that area.
Okay.
Any
Still
other,
can't use them.
they've been diligent in giving us our trail money for each lot that they sell.
That's
But
good.
We've gotten all of them.
That's all done, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it shows on that one slope map, that one there, that where's the 20 to 35% slope and the 35% plus slope. So there's quite a bit of
And
slope.
that's in the non-helicopter fund that the city has, so everybody's information.
So some of those people will be building on some pretty significant slope.
Yeah. And that was a challenge for Summer Creek, as I've had discussions with them, is to try to define how those building lots are gonna be configured and in order to use them. And so it's been a challenge for them.
Because they'll still have to come up with our building standards on slope versus the actual
Yes.
slope that's there. They're guaranteeing that will, the people who buy these lots will know that.
Yes, and that's what we've asked them to do, is to plan the envelope around the slope issues, so that they should not be, while there may be some challenges, they should not be affected by, I can't build on that lot.
Right, we don't want people coming back to us
Correct.
later saying you approved it and it's not buildable because of the slope. But they've identified this and they will let them know what our standards are for slope.
Yeah.
Hillside construction.
Any other questions? Okay.
Great, thank you, Wayne.
Thank you.
Item 7, discussion of interlocal agreement between Woodland Hills and Salem for water redundancy.
Okay, so this will be an agreement between us and Salem. It is in part tied to the Three Bridges development, so Three Bridges is got approval to build about 180 homes or something like that right now, which is down the lower part of their development. Hopefully in their plan is to build a water tank. And the water tank will be built in the lower part of their development, which will feed homes below their development that currently rely on the Maple Canyon tank. However, in the interim, before that tank's built, the homes being built in their development are completely relying on Maple Canyon tank. So we are doing agreements, not with Three Bridges, but between us and Salem. And this is actually more of a long-term agreement than just the immediate need, but there's a long-term benefit to it. It's an agreement between us and Salem that we will be able to share water back and forth in emergency situations if needed. And then there's a couple of caveats. I mean, it has to be, it's a may, it's not will, if the water is available. And since we've got our well project done, I think in the agreement, if I remember right, it was like 100 gallons a minute is what we would, up to 100 gallons a minute, we'd share back and forth. With the caveat that Three Bridges actually has to build the infrastructure to allow us to do that. And then we can actually share between cities. So if we have an emergency, they can supply us with some water. If they have an emergency, we can supply them some water, if it's available.
So our agreement, it was with Salem, and yet the infrastructure that's built is between Salem and Three Bridges.
The infrastructure that will be built will be city infrastructure, but will be paid for by them.
So,
Because we have to do some modifications in our booster station, and Salem, they have to put in a dual flow meter, because this water will be metered and we'll pay each other for the water if we have to use it. So there has to be a meter put in that will allow water to go either way through the meter.
that agreement, I guess that what I'm saying is that agreement to do that infrastructure upgrade will be between Salem and Three Bridges.
No, it's part of this
It's
agreement.
part of this, so we're all three in it.
Yeah, the share agreement, well, put it this way, this agreement is specifically to share water between the cities. There will be a separate agreement to do the improvements necessary to make this work.
Okay, so we are looking to that in the future.
Just part of that is, has to be done to our facilities as well, not just Salem. Yeah, this is just the agreement to share the water.
And only in emergencies.
Only in emergencies and only limited amount, and it's a may share if available.
If available.
So Ted, I was just reading it, well, I've been reading it, and it actually, this actually states that Three Bridges is going to pay for it, but they're not going to own any of it. So this specifically calls that out. Now, there might be more detail in that, but I believe this contract is, it locks all three groups in, doesn't it?
No, well, so it states that in the agreement, so both us and Salem are aware that's the plan, but I don't believe Three Bridges is a signature on the agreement. So it's really not locking them to this, it's just stating that's how it will be, meaning if they don't pay for it, then this agreement really doesn't come valid until we have the infrastructure to make it work. We'll
Okay,
have to have
fair
a
enough.
set fund between them once we get a better idea of what's needed.
Okay, so if they failed to do that, we wouldn't be held to this
agreement
contract.
And quite frankly, couldn't be held to it because there's no way to share
Couldn't
it.
be, yeah, agreed. Okay, I just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah.
And I did like that it was specific in here that it's not owned by Three Bridges. It's just, or water rights. Because I think that's an important aspect.
Yes, not an exchange of water rights. It's just if they need emergency water or we need emergency water, we can send it back and forth to each other.
This
This
does
is
swing
something
both directions. I mean, this is a neighborly thing to do.
Yeah.
both ways. And this is, Salem does the same thing with Elk Ridge. They've got a water share agreement, a dual meter with Elk Ridge. They can share water with them and back and forth. And so I think once again, it's like the mayor said, it's just a good neighborly thing for communities to have backup for each other.
Yeah,
And
I
that's
think it
basically what
is.
this is.
Ted, I know we can send water from Maple Canyon up to our well.
Mhm.
Can you do the reverse? Oh,
No, we can't, mainly because we have a dedicated line from the booster tank to our water tank that can pump it up there. But to get it back down, it comes through our water system, which has a system of PRVs that cut pressure.
okay.
So by the time it gets to the last PRV, I don't have enough pressure to push it over to Maple Canyon.
Okay.
So that's basically what Three Bridges has to do is in our booster station, they have to build a little bypass. So we can send water back down that dedicated line past the PRV and then tie it in to get that pressure.
Do you have an estimated time frame for their new tank?
I think they said it's in phase 2 or phase 3, so I'm guessing it's probably a couple of years out.
Phase out, okay.
Yeah. Three Bridges will always use Maple Canyon. But by building this new tank, right now Maple Canyon is being used by other developments downstream in Salem below Three Bridges. When they put in this new tank, those other developments, we will be able to use that tank. So then that frees up Maple Canyon, Salem's portion of Maple Canyon for just Three Bridges.
And on their portion of property that's in Woodland Hills, would that still be the case? They will just be using the Maple Canyon well at that point?
Yeah, that would make sense for them to use that because we don't have a water system. I mean, technically they could use ours, but they're gonna be using Maple Canyon anyway.
All right. Thank you, Ted. Stay put.
I saw that.
All right, if there are no other questions on that, we'll move on to the bid.
Bill and Mill.
So this is, we'll call it part 2 of the pavement management projects. Part 1 is the micro sill of about 9 miles of road, I want to say 9 or 10 miles of road, which we have a kickoff meeting with them Thursday. They will likely be starting that project in about a week and a half, micro sill. So we'll be seeing those roads getting done. We put out to bid the mill and fill project. This is another couple miles of road that'll be done, a little bit more extensive treatment on this. You know, rather than just putting a seal coat, it's gonna be take up 2 inches of asphalt, put 2 inches of asphalt back down, new asphalt back down.
How many miles did you say?
About 2 miles. So we put it out to bid and got 6 bidders that bid for the project, and the low bidder being $500,000 roughly, a little over $500,000. So this is an approval to award the bid to, is it Kilgore?
Till Kilgore? And when you, as you looked at those, I mean, the rest of the bids were kind of in your range, the engineer's probable cost. Was there anything missing out of that? Because it was a little bit lower than projected.
No, so the engineers went through the bids. They do every time we bid out a project with a fine tooth comb.
Mhm.
They make sure there's nothing missing, that they don't felt like none of the prices have been. And we have caught that a few times where you'll see they've missed a decimal or something like that, and then you go
Right.
back to them and you say, by the way, you know, and they're, oh. But in this case, they weren't far enough apart, the bids. They were within a reasonable range of each other.
Yeah.
That you don't feel like there was anything that was missed, and they actually, engineers go through them with a and look at all the numbers, and then they send us a letter of recommendation, which they sent, letter of recommendation saying they reviewed it and everything's good and they're okay with the bid. And it's a reputable company that does a lot of paperwork, so I think we're.
I always
we're
like it when they're in
comfortable.
that pretty consistent range, that
Yeah,
that
and
makes
they
you
were all
feel a
good
little
bids,
bit better
all
about
good
that.
companies, so. Anyway, it's a recommendation to award it to them, the contract for that.
And when does this start?
Don't know yet. Once we get the award, then we'll get together and they'll come up with the schedule, but they have to have it done by November 15th is the deadline, or when temperatures get below 50 degrees. You can pave up to 50 and rising. If 50 and rising happens in December, they can pave up till December, but we gave a deadline, I think, of November 15th.
If it happens before, what happens? They just come back in the spring?
I mean, temperatures drop too low. Then we'd have to relook at that because I'm sure there might be some additional costs, but we give them the option to be done. It's kind of their gamble to get it done as soon as they can. Now, what they have told me verbally is they'll likely be getting it done this month in September.
With 2 miles, it seems like
gonna
it
go
might
fast.
be a little bit more.
Child's play for these guys, right?
Yeah, this is a fairly minor project for these guys, so hasn't committed, but has said they're looking at having it done by the end of September. So we'll have both projects, should have both projects complete by then.
Tangential question. Have we heard anything from Comcast concerning all the holes throughout the city? Will they be all float filled and taken care of prior to us doing the micro sealing?
So I sent them a message last week with an email and a map of all the roads we're micro sealing and said they have to have everything done. Because not only do they have holes to fill, which they've started filling. So if you drive down Oak, they start filling those holes. So they're working on that, but they also have committed, because we have some other areas that need to be repaired.
They need to cut
and patch, and they've
Yeah.
committed to have all that done before the 4th is what we've told them their deadline is,
September 4th?
September 4th. All the streets that are getting micro sealed, they have to have complete.
Is that the same for the builder on Oak?
Builder on Oak is doing his tomorrow, I think it is, tomorrow or the next day.
The builder's
Falls.
doing his, but Enbridge has not committed to a date.
And then the one on Valley View is doing his September 3rd. So they've all been put on notice.
Wonderful. Thank you.
There's a lot of mud on Valley View, just so you're aware.
Yeah.
Is there a cleaning process before the micro seal?
Yes, they have to clean the roads.
Good.
Does microfill start September 5th?
The micro seal, our tentative right now is September 4th, but we'll find out for sure on Thursday when we meet with them.
Some of us will be totally an island isolated, not able, when they do my road. So I think settlement up, all those homes, we can't get out, there's nowhere to go. So will you give us a warning? Will you let us know?
Yeah, you're gonna have to go 4-wheeling down Sky Lake or something.
I mean, I can do that, but my husband drives the Elantra, he won't make it, and he
You
will
said we'd
call
take a
and yell at
July.
me. That dang city. I'm just saying, will you warn us?
So a couple of things, yes, they're gonna have to give notices of when they'll be doing the streets, and micro seal is usually a few hours before you can drive on it. And then also they'll be have a pretty extensive traffic control plan. Next week, we're gonna probably have to start putting out notices to residents, let them knowing that this is gonna be happening, because they may be diverting some traffic at
And
times.
sometimes they've done half the road and let people drive and then wait and do the other half.
Sometimes.
Are they doing that, or is it just all one?
It's gonna vary.
Okay.
Like my son
I
Jamin,
don't know the total
he
plan
leaves
yet.
at a weird time, because he works a later shift, so he'll have a meltdown if he can't get to work. I'm just saying. I'll get to hear about that too. Everything that goes wrong in the city, I get to hear about.
I think we all do. Our families are all like that.
Mine's pretty chill.
So
I don't hear
you're meeting
problems.
on Thursday to kind of
The
get the final
complainers.
plan on when they're doing what, and then we'll let people know via Everbridge, or how are we letting residents know when the
Yeah, I
roads will be
just-
closed?
Yeah,
So a
that's my
couple
question.
things, obviously I don't know if we'll use Everbridge, we'll have to think about that, but definitely our Facebook and website. And then we'll have some traffic signs out.
It probably would
There would be,
worth an Everbridge, no, it's just because
Just
I've
for
been trapped
local,
in my driveway before, and I don't want to put anybody in that spot, so I think that probably would be something that.
Well, and it's not, like I say, it's not just me on my road, there'd be several homes, so.
Yeah. We'll find out the plan on Thursday. I mean,
Okay.
you know, these guys do this quite a
well,
bit.
and
so I'm
all
sure
of Upper Sky Lake that has to
All
come out
of
that
Upper
way.
Sky Lake and everybody
I'm sure they
Upper Broad Hollow.
worked with this quite a bit, so I'm sure they have a pretty good plan.
Okay,
Okay,
And Upper Sky Lake is not on the same plan that Lower Sky Lake is with regards to water versus paving, or are they included? So
Both
they
those
won't be
have not,
getting,
they
they
don't
won't
have
be
water.
getting the rest of the,
None of Sky Lake has been done.
all right, well, with that, we can move on to your next report, reports, Public Works and Fire.
So Public Works, I'll tell you just a little bit about the water rate. So the Utah Division of Drinking Water, they are the ones that, number one, enforce the state drinking water rules to keep us in compliance with drinking water standards, which are usually set by the EPA. So they're kind of the state authority for EPA on drinking water health. But then they also have other programs locally they do with the state. For example, when we go for funding, that's where we get some of our funding from, is the Utah Division of Drinking Water. They have cross-connection programs. They have training for cities and stuff like that, but they have many programs. The federal government is cutting back on their funding to the state. So part of the funding that the state, in fact, a large chunk of funding that the Utah State Division of Drinking Water operates with is EPA or federal funding. With the shift in dynamics of be self-sufficient, federal funding is being cut back to states for these state agencies.
64%.
And it kind of varies, but roughly 64%, it depends on where you're talking about, earmarked or non-earmarked and stuff like that. But they're cutting back on their federal money. The federal money is what the state uses to loan out to cities like us. That's what we used when we did our water project. It's also how they operate some of their programs, their compliance programs and stuff like that. So basically what they've got is a big cliff coming of a cutoff of funding for them. The state has went through and they have done a audit internally, the State Division of Drinking Water, to cut some of their expenses as much as they can. But that's still not going to offset the deficit from the federal government to help keep the program going. So to fund the State Division of Drinking Water, they are now going to, it goes in January 2026. They probably won't start the program till July of 2026, kind of a fiscal year start. So there'll be a 6-month window there where they'll be basically charging cities a fee for all culinary water use. That fee, it's a formula they use based on your water use. They calculate it out. So every year I have to report our water use to the State Division of Water Rights, how much water we've used for the year. We use roughly 130 million gallons a year. And I have to report that every year to the State Division of Water Rights. So now the Division of Drinking Water is going to pull that data from water rights and use that information to bill cities for water, municipal water use.
Did you say we roughly use 130 million gallons a year?
We do. The
Okay.
formula, I mean, there's a formula I could give it, but basically what it comes down to, the state ran the numbers for every city. What it would have cost each city in 2024, had this been in place in 2024. Our city would have paid about 3,900 for the year to the state. So it's gonna be roughly in that $4,000 mark. It's up to the cities to determine how they want to choose to come up with that money. There's been, in talking with several water agencies today at the meeting I was at, some of them are just going to put it in their operational costs, comes out of their budget for operational costs. Some of them are looking at maybe increasing water rates to cover it. To us, it's about $7 to $8 per resident.
Per year?
Per water rate per year. So we can look at and talk about how we want to come up with that $4,000, or is it just become an operational cost
Per resident, meaning per home?
per
not
connection?
Yeah, I just want to clarify that because some people have more residents in their home than others, so per connection.
Per connection.
Yeah, we had a meeting yesterday for the cities that I was in on. So
Yeah, the
they
same
gave us a little-
presentation
the
Nathan
same
gave you, he
presentation,
gave us the one today.
Yeah, but
So it goes into effect in January 2026. They probably won't start it until July of 2026 because they're still trying to figure out how to get some of these mechanisms in place, but.
And so, I mean, for us to tie it to usage, I mean, we're just talking like a flat fee per resident if we were
per
to.
connection.
Right, yeah, per connection.
So it would
But
depend
it's
on how
not-
we want to do it. If we want to look at it through our operational costs and just say, okay, based on the money we already collect, we'll just
Absorb it.
and pay the 4,000 out of our budget from maybe some other budget number. Or we can look at raising our water rates. Now that requires a public hearing, so that would take some time. And we'd have to come up with this study to justify the water rate increase, which this would be very easily because it's coming from the state, but.
Which we might already be doing in connection with the phase 2 of our water replacement.
Okay.
So might be all tied together, or it might
It might be we
an
do one
observ-
for a little while, and then as we look into water rate studies, and then if we have to do it to take out raise our water rates to pay for some water projects, maybe that's the time to look at it. We raise an extra buck to collect some additional funding for this.
So our federal taxes will go down then, right? They don't need that.
They didn't give us that promise, but and it's only for residential use. Agricultural and industrial are not included in this.
So do we,
It doesn't matter to us because we're all residential. What's that?
so we don't have any agricultural with, I guess we've just all rezoned everything anyway, it doesn't matter.
And
But
we're
we
talking
do-
water use, how we designate, not land use.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, those
So-
properties that are on ag land in the city. would
If
they
they're
be-
using water or agricultural from our municipal system as to water their cows or water their hay, then they don't get included. But right now, we don't have any that do that.
Yeah,
I can't think of anything else on Public Works other than we're gonna get the 2 road projects going. The well project's finished and going well. A few minor tweaks we still gotta make with the contractor, and the skate upgrade is in works. So hopefully we'll see that soon. Fire side, our fire crew is back again. They'll be back tomorrow. They've been off. They got back last Friday night. They've been off on their R&R. They'll be back to work tomorrow. I don't expect
What was the last fire they were on?
The Beulah fire. which
Oh,
was a-
okay.
They were there
How
for
you it is?
12 days.
Okay.
So I don't suspect they'll sit very long again. I don't know that our state's is active right now calling for fires, but other states are.
I was gonna say, around my cabin in Idaho, it's like a ring of fire.
Yeah.
They're just all around.
Idaho,
it's just
Wyoming.
everywhere. Yep.
So I don't know
So
they'll
dry.
sit very long again. I'm running projections on the revenue we've been generating this year from them, and it's looking like a really good year for them generating revenue.
That's the hard part, right? We don't want wildfires, but gosh, our guys
Keep
are
that in
being,
mind as we come back for future requests.
yeah. It's been a rough year for the whole western United States.
I know.
So, for example, you might have seen the fire we had in Mapleton Friday night.
Yeah.
Well, John Wallace and I were on that fire all night long. We got called out to at 11:30 at night, went over there, and within a half hour, we were put right on initial attack. John fed water to their Forest Service engine all night, and I hiked straight up a hill for about a mile carrying 40-pound pack and a hose line spraying fire. Yeah, I was gonna say, Doral, I think I've earned my red card for the next 2 years.
That's what all that early morning conditioning
And
is.
hopefully they can use this example of those two juveniles who started that fire to make sure that, you know, we don't do that.
Well, yeah, they don't. And the good thing was the parents called it in right away. So they didn't try and hide from it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which was the right thing to do. Right thing to do.
So we were on that fire. So our truck was running. We got there 11:30 that night. We got back here at about 10 o'clock the next morning. Our truck ran all night long. Our old brush truck did okay till we started climbing the hill, the Woodland Hills. The radiator just blew water out. We were in low gears, chugging up the hill, trying to get it to the station. So that truck is just about seen its day. It's pretty scary when you go out on it now.
This is his plug.
Yeah, so
We need a little,
revenues.
a little brush truck station at our new mailboxes with a brush truck. I'm just talking.
No, we'd never get up the hill fast enough.
You can store your brush truck in the
It's in
stall.
the salt shed. There's some negotiation.
On it in salt, yeah.
Oh.
Anyway, but other than that, the fire crew's been doing well this year. We're gonna come out, I think, doing pretty good on that.
And how have we been at, I mean, because Mapleton, when I talked to their EM the other night, when after this happened, and they're like, why do kids not know this? Are we having any issues with kids not knowing what our rules are from the park up? Because we have in the past of people, you know, wanting to have a picnic in the park and start a little fire to have s'mores, or go up on the hill to watch with their sweetheart to watch the sun come up and start a little fire to keep warm.
We've not had this year any calls for that.
Good.
So we've had a pretty good year for that. During the winter, we had 2 calls for contractors that started a little fire to keep warm while they were building houses, but they were good about putting it out. Once they just didn't know the rule, but we've had no calls for that this year. So we've had a very fortunate year.
Maybe our education, getting it out, and the fire expo in May, as well as stuff at Woodland Hills Day, and, you know, just reminding of our vulnerabilities.
Okay, thank you, Ted. Okay, Wayne, you're up.
They still walk up here. That's a habit.
Skipping steps.
Yeah.
And technically, this will pick you up back there, Wayne.
Yeah, I know. I was
We
tempted
like to
to.
see you though, when you throw stuff.
Figured somebody, yeah, come on up to the table.
It's not as clear when people are talking in the back, just so you know. It is a little bit muffled in the back. The front is super clear.
And my granddaughter is running interference too.
She's doing awesome.
I just woke her up. Whoops.
I think your wife stole her baby. We're just, you got updated with the planning commission, the things that we've done this this month. We're putting together some changes in some of our ordinances. We'll bring them to you next month in our meeting, tweaking some and eliminating some conflicting areas in others. So we're just spending our time doing that. Any questions?
And Wayne, just to give you a little heads up, another meeting I was in yesterday with housing and land use, there is going to be legislation with detached ADU proposals. Now, we already have our thing in place, but
That's
there's-
one of the, we're tweaking.
and that's, they may come back with a statewide ordinance that says step backs are only 5 feet. And, or less, for detached, or even on property lines. And so we're trying, I was pushing back to say, no, let's let local control have whatever their city setbacks are. Let's make sure that's in place. We're okay with the detached ADUs because we've been working on it. And the other one is if you can have an internal ADU and an external ADU on the same property, if the owner doesn't live there. So basically a triplex. And so they're kind of mulling through that on if we would be okay with that. And at this point, I don't know if our ordinance even considers that, but.
Our ordinance requires an owner to be on
Right,
site.
but I meant if we've even considered an internal and an external at the same time.
We do allow that.
Okay, that's what I thought we did, as long as it's owner occupied. That's what I told them. They're also working on a moderate income housing proposal, a new framework, 2.0 they're calling it, which right now we don't need to worry about. We haven't had to worry because we don't have 5,000 or more homes, but they're looking at maybe changing that to lower. So we just have to keep our eye on it. And also with the affordable housing plan and short-term rental proposals that they are putting forth that may be statewide ordinances and statute instead of just individual ordinances. And the last one is they're working on an annexation, statewide annexation plan that may impact us. Gotta go, I guess. But considering right now, if someone wants to annex in, we have our plan. And it may be that they might be changing it that says if you aren't allowing them, then they need to know more why. And if it's an infrastructure, cities may be requiring those annexation, people who are wanting to annex in to provide all of the infrastructure prior to annexation. So just to keep, those are things just to keep in your wheelhouse in the next few months, is these might come up in the legislature.
Very good. Thank you.
Well, that was your buzzer, Carrie.
That was my buzzer.
Somebody's house.
Your 2-minute buzzer.
Done.
Thanks,
I just like him to know that those are things that, as they're putting all this work in, knowing that it might even change again in a few months.
Right.
I was teasing, but.
No, thank you. And thanks, Wayne. Okay, moving to reports, personnel. I think I reported on personnel last time before the truth and taxation hearing. I don't have anything to report other than, I mean, I think that we're making good strides and getting things done. So nothing beyond that for me. Councilmember Hilliard.
They had a meeting today, a 2:00 meeting in the afternoon is a real bear to try and accommodate, but get there when we can. I wasn't able to make it today. But we've been doing some great things here in the city with emergency management, especially on the Be Ready side of things, which is a community entity, but they've done some really cool things. We just recently did a cooking event here where they used solar ovens and all sorts of other crazy ways of cooking that were quite impressive and beyond my comprehension. But they're learning some amazing skills in that. So
And they're spreading it around the whole county. The Be Ready Woodland Hills is helping cities all over the county and holding these same classes that they hold here. They hold at a facility in American Fork as well for the Northern County. So it's like our fire department is going out everywhere. So is our preparedness group, which is kind of cool.
it's pretty cool. So
The
but
other
yeah,
thing
that's
with,
everything
with
from me.
emergency management that, from the meeting is, not only fire dangers, and then some flash flood warnings were happening around, the South County today. And then, just an FYI, the 9/11 project is, that tours around the state will be hosted by the, Spanish Fork Emergency Management Group at the fairgrounds for that weekend of September 11th, which is also our Woodland Hills Day. So we might want to, I think it's the 2 days prior is when it will be, the 9/11 project at the fairgrounds in Spanish Fork. So just let our residents know.
Okay, Councilmember Hutchings.
So Wayne has pretty much covered everything for planning commission, and we have not had public works or PTR. So I've got nothing to report.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Kinnison.
All right, proud to admit that on August 2nd, the sirens went off perfectly. It's the first time we pushed the buttons and it just acted perfectly. Now, no changes have been done, but It was probably the skilled operator, I'm just not sure. We,
Did you have Jody or Janet do it?
we had a female voice. I don't know if any of you want to comment on that, but,
I wasn't here.
it was,
I don't know if
I
was there.
recorded it. It sounded pretty good, but.
Yeah, I think I heard you recording.
Yeah, okay.
Did it work better with the female voice? Or-
Some people voted yes and some no. It was weird, you know, so. But anyway, our sirens worked really well. Janet will talk about my next two items, and that's Woodland Hills Days and September 4th. So that's all I have.
Okay, thanks, Roland. Janet?
Okay, so nothing really to report on finance committee, just, again, I already told them, but they did come and help with our truth and taxation meeting. We had a couple members that came and supported and were able to answer some questions, and grateful for that and for all their hard work on the budget. Communication team, I still need a TED Talk, and I still need something from Ben for our newsletter.
I already told you that, so you didn't have to bring it up.
I know. And we'll have an insert in there for all the Woodland Hills Day stuff, but I do need to get a count. So for our video, our history movie, it's September 4th at 7 p.m. at the Anderson's house, Glenn Anderson's, and they want to know how many are coming. So Mayor.
Yeah. Do I get to bring a +1?
Yeah, it's 2. You get 2.
Yeah, we've got it on our calendar.
I put it
And
on
thank
my
you for the
calendar.
accommodation.
So Carrie,
I couldn't miss
2.
my daughter's wedding.
I know. Ben,
Yeah.
2.
Yep.
Doral,
2.
Brian.
But I sent it.
I'm gonna be still in Delaware.
Okay. I'm inviting Jody. 2. Wayne. 2. And I'll ask Ted. He disappeared. So, you know, that
What
fire
about,
thing.
what about, that's a,
I have another town council meeting that night.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you can come if you want. I asked, it's just under an hour, just barely under an hour, but lots of, it will be available for everyone at Woodland Hills Days. And then the intent is that we'll have a QR code for people to download it so they can keep it digitally. We'll also print some DVDs. So if people want a DVD of it, but it's, we're celebrating 55 years, so.
this is the, what do they call that when they roll out the red carpet and everybody wears something fancy to go to the premiere?
Yeah, this is the premiere.
So, not that we're gonna have all of that, but you
And
know.
Glenn put so much time in and he was so excited, and so we're trying to also make it a big deal and really show him, that we appreciate all of his hard work, so.
I'm sure it'll be amazing.
It's gonna be great.
Can't wait.
It will be good. So yeah, so there's that. And then Woodland Hills Days. Just really quick. What we are and aren't having, we will still have the car show, the band, the movie. So for the movie, we'll do the Woodland Hills Days movie first and feature that. And then they're gonna show Big for the kids.
Well, that would be good.
After. And then they'll have concessions, they'll have the booths. So if you're a candidate and you're running, you probably should reserve a booth. It's Anna Gosney who's doing them this year. So if you need a booth, that's who you reach out to. We'll have bingo, climbing wall. We just got that secured. Hopefully we have a parking person for Woodland Hills Days. I'm smiling at you.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk to you after.
Okay, I'll talk to you after. We've got SESD all set up. We're working on the shirts. We had quite the discussion on that. Art show, we're doing the art show again. There's only gonna be a couple of artists, but there's still going to be an art show, so that'll be fun. Sharon Wright, because it's a 55, she's doing the anniversary cakes that she did once before, and they have coins
Money
in
in,
them and money in
money
them.
inside.
So she's gonna do the little cakes again. She's volunteered to get,
The kids loved that last time.
so she's volunteered to get a little committee of her own together and do the money cakes again. And then as we talked about the name tags where you're gonna put how long you lived here, which we thought it'd be really cool. And then Sid Thomas is gonna do they're gonna do the horseshoe tournament. And then there's gonna be a scavenger hunt and a pie eating contest again. No parade, no parade. Well,
Good at that, aren't we?
everybody was in
He
the
just took
parade and nobody
swings at my
watched the
truck.
parade, so we're not doing the parade. It's just too hard. We tried to get like.
Too hard for you to decorate it.
We tried to get cheerleaders, we tried to get a band, nobody would come. So
After
they
they
said we're too
changed
small.
directors, the old directors loved it, but the new directors, not so much.
Yeah, they all say we're too small, so they won't come.
A
So
100-yard parade, it's just not worth the effort.
no, it's not. So they're not coming.
No.
You can take that tape off your truck.
Yeah, no, I know. I was hoping
Anyway,
for
it'll
one
be
last
fun.
parade. Thanks, Janet.
Yeah.
We'll try to stick within the
Fun.
budget, but I can't guarantee it.
And we have not gotten the SESD check, right? I mean, they've committed to it.
They
It was in our
committed.
last meeting. It was approved, so.
I mean,
sure
I'll wait. I figured I'd give them another week and then maybe send out a
Jody thinks we
text.
might have gotten it.
Oh,
And I kind of zinged the Three Bridges a little bit to see if they wanted to sponsor some of it as well.
Yeah, they should.
Wow.
And
I said, hey, we might be able to do something.
in exchange for the land mailbox.
This would be good PR for them.
yeah, because we do get a contribution from Summit Creek as well, which I got that secured today, so.
Janet, is there a flag ceremony?
Yes, after the breakfast. So, there will be a flag ceremony. The veterans are doing it. So we had the youth do it last time, but it involved some instruction kind of on the spot. And so we're just gonna have the veterans do it this time
Now that
and
we
it will
don't
be
have
at the park.
scouts.
And the mayor is expected to have a few words.
Oh, at the flag ceremony?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Because what we talked about, I was gonna do the night of the movie. Maybe we'll talk about it
Maybe you're doing
offline,
both.
but-
You might be doing both.
Okay, I'll just give the same remarks.
Okay, yeah, so.
Thank
It'd
you.
be great.
Great. Yep. Okay. Councilmember
One other
Martin.
thing, Mayor, I just wanted to mention, they're having an event at the fairgrounds on the 10th, 11th, 12th, and 13th.
Now he was talking about.
9/11.
Oh, yeah.
And they're doing a touch a truck event, so we're taking one of our engines down. But it's great for grandkids, things like that, but it's a service for 9/11.
It's the Brent Taylor Foundation.
Say again?
It's the Brent Taylor Foundation is doing the 9/11 event. I have a flyer on it that I can give you.
Okay, no, well, I'm just letting you know, we're taking one of our trucks down and we're gonna be helping. They've asked us to come down with one of our fire trucks, our old engine.
Doing
And
it twice.
That's great.
and
really
so
neat.
you can bring grandkids and things like that. It's a really good thing, or kids, I guess some of us are younger. Not me anymore. But
I'm
just
glad that we're
wanted to
both-
let you know that's a thing to do for, it's, I know it's during Woodland Hills days, but it is going on the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Wednesday,
Wednesday.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
We're Wednesday, Thursday. you're
Yeah,
saying.
10th
Okay,
through
that's awesome.
13th.
I'm
We're
glad that
we're taking the old engine just because of fire calls right
Yeah.
now are pretty critical to keep our
Yeah.
best equipment here.
It's
Yeah,
it's
that's
an
cool.
amazing thing that Jenny started after Brent died. And, he was the mayor of North Ogden, and he was the first sitting elected official killed in action since the Civil War. And he and I served on the league board together, and so we were very good friends. And he had texted me like the day or two before he was killed. We had this little group text, and so she kind of took that over and has made his life very memorable with her foundation. And one of the things they do is this 9/11, and they take it around different cities, request it, and Spanish Fork requested it. And so it's going to be really a great thing for our community as a whole.
Great. Okay,
Thanks,
well,
thanks, Brian, for
yeah.
remembering that.
thank you. And back to you, Carrie, for Public Works and Community Development.
No report because Ted already gave us all of it.
Okay.
On community development, they met Monday night. They're going through the process of getting everything ready for the general plan and the strategic plan. There are 3 chapters left to do, 6, 8, and 9, which they'll do next time, which is Parks and Trails, Water Preservation, and public facilities infrastructure. They're integrating the land use chapter with the natural hazards chapter. Natural hazards, we'll talk about earthquakes and things like that, and then the land use chapter will be potential mitigation. There's the state code requires a public hearing during the planning commission stage. He suggests that when the planning commission wants to hold that, they'll tell us that the council attend that meeting as well, just so that we can hear the public input, because we don't need to have one by law during the council meeting when we approve it. And so that's something that we can look at. Lori's going to send out the plan after they've finished, which they're hoping to do at their September 22nd meeting. And they'll put it on the website right afterwards, but she will also send something out for resident feedback so that we will have it, planning commission will have it, and we can go forward with how we're going to do that. So their next meeting is in September, and they're hoping to, they've been working hard all summer, getting it ready.
Great.
So
Okay.
feeling good about it.
Upcoming items, I know we talked about Chris getting the Zion's banker in next. Anything else that anybody feels needs to be discussed? And then Jody,
Make sure
you
we-
made the announcement of the candidates night. That's one of our upcoming meetings too. Did you say something, Brian?
Yeah, if we could make sure that we invite our finance committee to that meeting when the Zions banker is gonna be there. Janet, do you want to make sure that you invite them?
Yeah, is it for sure next time? I'll coordinate with Chris.
Yeah, I guess we probably want to make sure they're coming.
Yep, I'll coordinate.
I would think it might be good because there's a lot of land use things on the agenda for the legislature that will impact us, that we might invite them to come prior to the session to tell us kind of some of the things that they're looking at, so that we can give them our opinion from our city's perspective.
I agree. That would be useful. So, do you have what council meeting do you think would be?
I would say maybe the first one of November, because then we can kind of hear what they say at the interim meetings in October.
Yeah.
And kind of have it fresh before they go off, because they don't meet in December. And then that would be their last thing to do.
Why, last time?
And that's gotta be the certifying of the election.
Oh, okay. I just know the last time we did it.
Crying, yeah.
Or maybe.
Last time we
maybe
did it after the legislative
If you
session, I
would.
think, and so it is nice to maybe get some real time.
Maybe the last one in October then? Our last meeting in
Anything
October?
on the agenda at present, Jody? And they'll know.
I'm gonna be crying in a few
The
minutes.
only thing that's on.
Oh, do we need a break?
No, my son's getting on a plane.
Oh,
The only thing that I can see happening on October 28th is, depends on what happens with the planning commission on October 15th with the general plan.
If they plan to look at it then.
Yeah, that was kind of the discussion in last night's community development committee meeting. But I don't see that it's probably gonna be ready to have a public hearing on yet.
I think it's nice to have that, them coming and just staying connected, so.
I'd say on the 28th would be great because they have their interim meetings on the 22nd and 23rd. So it will be real fresh in their mind of what they're doing.
So in terms of reaching out to them, Jody, you did that last time, right? Do you mind just seeing their availability and see if we can get them here for? And I think they ran a tight ship last time. They were quick and to the point, which was nice. Okay, so thanks. Good suggestion, Carrie. If nothing else, sorry, he's on his way soon then, huh?
Yeah, tonight.
That's tough.
Is this your missionary?
Yeah, he's on his way to the airport to fly to the DR right now.
Good for him, though.
Yeah,
And you'll be able to talk to him soon.
I
Okay.
talked to him today.
Let's take our break then and
So much
we'll
different
reconvene
than-
at 8:25. All right, we'll call our city council meeting to order. We would ask Councilmember Lunt if she would offer the invocation and Councilmember Kinnison if you would lead us in the pledge.
Our dear kind and gracious Heavenly Father, we're so grateful that we could gather here together this evening as city elected officials and city employees to come together to make decisions and make plans and work on the budget so that we can best serve our community while being conscious of the cost to our citizens. And Heavenly Father, please help us to always receive input from our citizens and to be listening and doing the things that will be best for all. And we're so grateful for this opportunity to serve. And please continue to keep our community safe from fire. And we say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
I'd like to stand and repeat the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, public comment portion. Any public comment here?
I have a public comment. I want to compliment the mayor on his dress tonight.
On my, oh, yeah, no
Your
kidding.
dress. He looks good, doesn't he?
Ted got the
Wow.
memo, yeah, it's kind of like a gang. Thank you. Public comment acknowledged. All right, nothing here. It doesn't look like anybody's online.
Jetson's watching the game, just so you know.
Okay, we'll close the public comment portion and the consent agenda. June 2024 or June 2025 city council meeting minutes, et cetera.
I will make a motion to actually approve the entire consent agenda.
Okay, so that's a motion
second.
by Councilmember Hilliard, seconded by Councilmember Malkovich. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Thank you. Item 19, ordinance 2025-29, adopting a change in zoning from R12 to R119 for the 9.1 acre parcel of land located at 410 South Woodland Hills Drive.
Do we need to make anything specific for this, Jody, or it is in this ordinance? I'm trying to pull it up, but in this ordinance, does it?
Too.
This might, you may want to say something specific about the density. That was a suggestion from the planning commission. Another one might be, the access, the maximum number of accesses onto the property, or onto Woodland Hills Drive. Those are just suggestions.
So maximum of 2 and 2 access and 3 and 8 properties. I'll make a motion that
Okay,
we
oh,
accept,
go ahead.
that we adopt the change in zoning from R12 to R119 for a 9.1 acre parcel of land located at 410 South Woodland Hills Drive, with the caveat of a maximum 2 access points to Woodland Hills Drive and a maximum of 8 parcels.
Okay, that's a motion by Councilmember Malkovich,
I'll second it.
seconded by Councilmember Lunt. Councilmember Malkovich,
Yes.
Councilmember Hilliard,
Yes.
Councilmember Lunt,
Yes.
and Councilmember Kinnison has recused himself. Councilmember Hutchings.
Yes.
Okay, that motion carries. Item 20, ordinance 2025-30, adopting the 2026 fiscal year budget.
I will make a motion to adopt ordinance 2025-30, adopting the 2026 fiscal
Thank
year
you.
budget.
With,
Option C,
Option
right?
C, yes.
Oh, well, I actually,
option C, with the caveat of using as much out of savings, right?
Well,
Yes.
it was, yeah,
And borrowing less if possible, right?
Yeah, option C with figuring out from the bank exact terms of what that will be, because it will fluctuate from now till
Yeah.
when it actually executes, so.
Okay, just, yeah.
I'll make that as complicated as possible for Jody.
Do we make it no greater than the loan amount listed in option C? But preferably less?
That would make sense.
I like that. That's a good way to put it.
Chris, does that tie our hands unnecessarily if we do that?
It could, but I think we got enough cushion in there that we should be okay. And you guys could change it again. So it's not like this is once you said it, it's permanent. So
As you can open the budget.
yeah.
Just rather avoid a second step if we can.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd just say, hey,
Chiming in.
ordinance 2025-30, adopting 26 fiscal year budget option C. With the maximum as stated on there and due to bank term inquiry.
Okay. Got what you need, Jody? All right, a motion by Councilmember Hilliard,
I'll second it.
seconded by Councilmember Malkovich. Councilmember Hutchings,
Yes.
Councilmember Kinnison,
Yes.
Councilmember Lunt,
Yes.
Councilmember Hilliard,
Yes.
Councilmember Malkovich.
Yes.
That motion carries. Item 21, approval of Summit Creek G1 Phase B subdivision, including the engineering cost estimate.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, motion by Councilmember Hilliard,
I can stick with that.
second by Councilmember Hutchings. All in favor?
Yes.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Approval, item 22, approval of the interlocal agreement, Woodland Hills and Salem for water redundancy.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Councilmember Lunt,
I'll second that.
seconded by Councilmember Hilliard. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Item 23, awarding the bid for the 2026 mill and fill project Kilgore, right?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, a motion by Councilmember Malkovich,
I'll second that.
seconded by Councilmember Kinnison. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I just did that because you
Any
didn't.
opposed?
I know.
Okay, that motion carries. All right, so as we talked about, I would suggest that we do enter a closed session. We also have a legal update. Actually, I'm gonna just say the legal update because
It's public record.
Yeah, it's public record. So the appeal, or the request for rehearing was denied. So the appeal stands, or the refusal, of the appeal, or the denial of the appeal. Sorry, I'm losing my
You
vocabulary.
better ask a lawyer.
Okay, well, it just means that, that all outstanding, except for the one that was recently filed, all outstanding matters remain resolved in the city's favor. Okay, so, with that, if we get a motion to go into closed session.
I'll make a motion that we go into closed session.
Okay, and this is to discuss the land acquisition, or the proposed land acquisition.
Okay.
And so that's a motion by Councilmember Lunt,
I'll second.
seconded by Councilmember Malkovich. Councilmember Malkovich,
Yes.
Councilmember Hilliard,
Yes.
Councilmember Lunt,
Yes.
Councilmember Kinnison,
Yes.
Councilmember Hutchings.
Yes.
Okay, then we will go into closed session. Can you make a motion to go to IHOP?
It's gonna come early.
Okay, we're out of closed session, and if we could get a motion to adjourn, we'll call it.
I move to adjourn.
A motion to adjourn by Councilmember Kinnison,
I'll second it.
seconded by Councilmember Lunt. We're adjourned.
All right.
Okay,